blah, blah, blah. Missing. Who knows where he went? He vanished. Invisible. So, as you're standing, where are you outside of Blinsky's shop? Would you like a sort of...
Do we know he's on his way?
Yes.
Well, you know that... he said, I was on my way. So Blinsky sent a message and he responded to that message was, I'm on my way.
What's the ground like where we are?
Stone. It's a cobbled street.
Okay. I can't burrow through cobblestone, can I?
No. I'm sorry.
Why there? Yes.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you just said, "Da-da, da-da." Here we go. Let me.
And have we had any long rests?
I imagine you will have.
Say that again. Yes. Let me just reload this because it's decided that I've logged out, but I haven't. It's got confused about.
I just want you to transform so I can speak with animals.
I will wild shape into a Komodo.
Not that I need it, because I can know better than me.
That's better.
Komodo?
It's got all my permissions
See, I can technically
confused.
speak with you, or I could speak with you in Komodo, which sounds way cooler.
Queenie also has speak with animals at will, so we can just chat in various animals.
Yeah, he could just do what he wants.
I think
Or
I get
what she
one
wants.
usage per,
Okay.
Can you wild shape into dragons?
Unfortunately,
so-
no polymorph for that.
So in terms of
when it says you get comfort is to
sorry.
Which scales, and then there's a 9th level spell that is just turn into
That's
something.
what I wanted.
You keep your intelligence
Okay.
and your stuff if you want.
Yeah, that's the one that I was using.
Yeah, it's a really, really good check.
There's true polymorph and there's also like shift change.
Yeah, I think it's shape change maybe.
Shapeshift.
Yeah, it's really good. It's basically just wild shape, but like scaled properly, or not properly, scaled highly.
That's better. Okay, so this is just for reference, so you know the location. So
Oh,
this is Blinsky's. Yeah.
We're outside Blinsky's shop.
So that's Blinsky's shop. So I think you're all. Oh, there you go. You're all in Blinsky's shop, but I can move you out. So.
No, it's always busy.
The fact this script has cobblestone tells me it's a fancy town.
It's a fancy town. Is that the definition?
It's fancy.
It's fancy for Barovia.
It's got cobblestone, it's just that there's mud.
I do love the juxtaposition we've had of like most of the cities in Randor are like enormous and magitech and what's going on, and Barovia's like, here's a tent in the dirt.
That is so fucking true.
Or is a relative concept,
No. If you can't afford the cost of living,
Okay, so that's essentially where you are. You've come out. He's shut the door, and they'll go shut the door. And he's currently going around turning off all the lights. And you're early evening. It's dark at the best of times in Barovia, so it's now darker.
Do we know
And-
which direction he will be coming?
You know that the Burgomaster's house, which is the last place you saw him, would be in this direction. So the Burgomaster's, on this square, you also know that this is Vasily von Holtz's house. That's where the ghost lived. This is the other inn up there that you've not really been to. So you know that the Burgomaster's house is sort of up that main street. So you'd be expecting him to come from that direction, assuming that he's still at the Burgomaster's house, as opposed to out at the guard post on the wall, which could be in any direction. Yeah.
Is the door open?
No, Blinsky shut you out.
Worries.
He slammed the door behind you and disappeared.
We're not
He
allowed
doesn't
to-
want to invoke the wrath of.
Just fits this shop.
Or do we set up
He's
some-
literally, he's just had his new window put in, which took a really long time to make the
Where are
glass.
these people?
We should flame him through
Are Are they guards?
Yeah, these are just sort of. That's a guard. They're
We
just on
want
random.
Kellen. Do we need him
They're just on random patrol. They don't appear to be.
Yeah, we need to find out why he's making these dolls.
Can the assassin rogue do a non-lethal assassinate, or does it have to be lethal damage?
I think.
Knock him unconscious, sort of thing.
Like a really like a Spock bludgeon to the head or something.
I'd allow that if you're very. I was going to say don't bludgeon anything, but if I'd allow that if you're very clear that your assassination attempt is not to assassinate him,
'Cause I was
but
gonna
to
say,
disable.
If you want to do that, hiding the rogue somehow and getting the assassinate drop would be a great start.
Well, I was figuring.
I don't have invisibility.
How
I don't think.
traveled is this street at this time? Like, is there
Not
people
many.
around?
So these guards are kind of moving through, and mainly just making sure that all the posters are up. They're going around making sure everybody's sort of, it's coming up to that curfew time where they lock all the town down. They're not actively curfewing anybody, but they're sort of wandering the streets. They're not sort of paying any mind to you standing outside Blinsky's shop.
Can I go north
Yep.
and find a poster
Mm-hmm.
to stare at?
You want to find a poster to stare at?
Leaning on my walking stick.
Yeah, you can send us a signal.
And before I go, I will use my action to telepathically link with.
Okay.
Can if we want eyes, I can conjure a whole bunch of owls again. Like a whole bunch of owls.
Well,
Uh,
we
uh,
kind of need to do
So-
away from these guards on the road.
So this building in this sort of top corner here is a bar. So if you're going out from Blinsky's house, right round here is a shop called the Trapped Paw, and on the walls of most of these sort of places, there's space where posters clearly get put up and taken down, So they have a poster of Festival of the Blazing Sun, children required, all of
Can I
that.
move like north a little bit further, like that main road?
Yeah.
Just somewhere I can see. Yeah.
So this is Vasily's house up the top, up there.
Is there like a bunch of on the left hand side? What's that building
Um,
there? In the middle?
this one,
Yeah.
that is. No, that's just a house of some descriptions.
Okay.
This is sort
But
of
it's
sort of
not
half
the-
residential,
not the
half residential, half shop. So this is the dilapidated ghost house. You all appear to be there as well from when you were there. We'll get to those in a minute. This is a house. This is Vasily von Holtz's place up there.
Can I just sit on one of the boxes outside the abandoned house
Yep.
and just like light my
So that's
pipe and-
south. That's right down here. Do you want to go down there, or do you want to go up
No,
here?
no, the middle one.
The middle one. Okay, that's fine.
So you have these boxes like on the corner.
Yeah.
I'll just be smoking my pipe. Looking
Okay,
like,
so you're going to go sit on a thing and smoke a pipe.
let me check. It paralyzes them.
That actively
Technicality.
keeping that eye in there.
Okay.
It's not guaranteed to work though. They can, if they succeed the save, then it just does nothing. Target is paralyzed for the duration. Can people speak when they're paralyzed? I think they can.
I think we've ruled that you can speak, but you can't move.
Awesome.
I think
So
so.
yes,
You've got
yes.
verbal, but not somatic in
Fair
terms
enough.
of spells. Yeah.
The sound.
Well, how are we going to do this without catching the other guards?
Oh no, paralyzed, can't move or speak.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I
Well, it's restrained where you can speak.
Okay, cool.
Restrained and grappled, you can speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I also can restrain them. Okay, I've got entangle as well, so I can restrain them if you prefer. So that's fine. I've got lots of them.
Okay. So Zephyr's now up here on this corner.
I think we should definitely all make ourselves scarce.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
reckon if we do,
where would anybody else like to go?
entangled attack roll or
Save. Can I go within 90 feet of the general entrance of the area of the house, but somewhere I can like sit on a barrel or
Yeah.
sit down somewhere where it looks fairly obvious?
Opposite.
Yeah, sure.
So
I
for
see
over
line-
by
I see
over by
line
the
sight
weird
from
ghosty
90
house. Just sort
over
of.
by the weird ghosty house, and I'll pull out a thing of wine and look like a drunk or a...
Oh yeah. Well, that's pretty
We
common.
should try and take him into the ghost nest because nobody is into the ghost nest. So if you interrogate him,
That I cannot do unless I entangle and then someone else grabs it.
I think that's
Although if we do no lethal damage, we can just knock them out and then take them later.
true.
Provided no guards.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is we need to kind of get a distraction for the guard.
How many guards are there?
So you've seen two. So you've just watched one is walking off in this direction, and one has walked off in that direction. You can't currently see them.
Have we been in
I
the
think
town
I'll
long
go
enough
then.
to like notice that they have like a route that they take, sort of thing?
Um,
Or do they just wander around?
They appear to wander around aimlessly, and then are attracted to things like jackals and window smashing. Generally
Has
speaking.
anyone got like minor illusion or something?
No, so the bard does, but
Well, damn it! Why don't we have a bar? So we could have a jackal distract the guards.
I mean, if you want a jackal, I can do that really easily. I can do 8
But we
jackals.
need
if
you
you
for
want.
entangled.
I cannot do.
You cannot do bird.
Is it con? It is concentration. So the jackals can be there, but then they'll disappear once they do entangle.
That's fine. We just need to lure those two, like lure any guards away.
I can say entangled is also a 20-foot square, so if they all stand near each other, I can potentially get 3 of them. That means 3 people have to fail a save, which is not great.
Maybe I should just cast Fairy Fire on some guards and then what the fuck is going on?
Just
This guy's
bring-
glowing!
I mean, it might work. Can I hide like behind this tent here?
Behind the tent outside the front of Blinsky's
That one,
place.
Make a bunch of giant poisonous snakes.
That's an 18 for stealth.
Okay.
Because they're not scary. Or I could make 8 swarms of bats. Not just 8 bats, 8 swarms of bats.
I reckon.
That seems
People
efficient.
Good luck at some point. That's
Oh,
That is
Or
round.
ravens. That's very bad.
Okay, anybody else? So currently, Ethidwe and Malachi are kind of kicking their heels right in front of the shop. You want to go down the bottom? Are you hiding?
Yeah.
Just down behind that tent, or around the side of the building. Okay, so you're coming around here a bit.
I'll hide there at the bottom, please.
Where do you want to go? Down here?
Yes,
And she's about to go into the shop.
Cool.
So if
make
on this
Ethel
corner.
attacks first so they get surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah,
On that corner?
If we attack first, then if I can come
You
in
can-
after to try and like hand over mouth sort of thing.
Okay. All right. So you're all happy where you are.
Alternatively, instead of restraining
I
them,
mean,
I
you
can.
don't need to hide. I can just pretend to be a kid looking in the window.
That's not a bad idea. That would still count as surprise, wouldn't it, if you're not expecting the person to attack you?
Alright, I'll be that. I'll be looking at the toy.
Okay. I'll put you back there then, looking through the window.
Yeah.
Okay. Harley, roll a perception check.
Nice. 17 plus 4, so 21.
You hear sort of footfall coming from this direction along here.
Interesting. Okay. Can I put my head around the corner to see if it is our target or if it's one of the guards?
Yeah, you can. From where you are, no, you don't have line of sight. Too far down, so you've got line of sight about here. Too far down.
Would,
You look round the corner and you see both. So you see both a guard and you see Izek approaching.
Take the first guard and then kill the first guard. Stash him somewhere. Oh, conjure a giant turd, feed him to the turd. Dispose of the body, kidnap.
Okay. So he doesn't. So Izek's walking down this sort of this side alley, down here. I'll put you there just for a second. You can see him coming down. It's pretty dark down this alley, but you can see him coming down here. Okay. He's clearly coming around the corner. The guard appears to be more patrolling the sort of. It doesn't appear to be with Izek. More has headed off north along the sort of parallel street. He doesn't appear to have noticed you. As he comes further down this side room, Quinny, you would also, once you get to that sort of intersection, you by those boxes, you can also see him, as could Zephyr from the top. So Zephyr's up here on this top corner up here.
Quinny continues to drink wine.
Quinny continues to
committed
drink.
To the character of a drunkard.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm gonna. Is there like a newspaper or anything like that?
There's a whole load of sort of, no, there's no newspaper. There are some posters. There's like a sort of almost like a barrel where they've been putting them up and they've sort of finished for the day. So there's a barrel of festival posters which have been put.
Look at it and start walking down the road.
Okay.
So I'll be looking at it.
So Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very slowly. What's my cane?
Okay.
We
So
get
you're
the Strahd's
you're hobbling down there as an old dude. Izek gets to the corner and clearly looks first to Zephyr and then down the way as he gets to that intersection at Quinny, not really expecting anybody out at this sort of time of night. Everybody else appears to have disappeared. There's a couple of guards on the periphery. There's nobody down in this area.
I'd like to
but
hold my action to cast Entangle where he's standing, just by the way, if that's okay.
okay. He sort of quizzically raises an eyebrow, looks first to Zephyr, then to Quinny, and then walks straight towards Quinny.
I will kind of raise the bottle of wine over in a toast sort of fashion.
He goes, What would you be doing out here at this time of night? Everybody should be home, preparing for the festival tomorrow morning. It's very suspicious. There's no one else, as you can see, other than this old chap with a cane. I shall go and ask him in a second. What are you doing out on the streets after dark?
I'm making my way back to my accommodation.
And where precisely are you staying?
At the place with the beds.
Looks utterly unimpressed, and he holds out his hand. This arm is grossly deformed. So one arm absolutely fine, one arm grossly deformed. It looks blackened and burned. His hand catches fire and goes.
I cast a spell magic on his hand.
And he raises an eyebrow and goes, interesting. And which beds do you think you would be sleeping in again?
Do a lot more than just that fire.
Can I do a quick scan for like
where the
Guards
targets
area?
the creature. So any magic he has of third level. Sorry, any magic he has of 8th level or lower is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any guards nearby? As I'm hobbling down the street, can I,
What would that look again?
Say it again. You're hobbling down the street.
Can I see if there's any guards within visual range of him?
Not that you can see. You can't see anybody within visual range.
Okay, I'm going to telepathically say Queen. Take him.
I want to cast.
I guess he is closer to the first house over that so if we
Let's do hold person and then bludgeon him unconscious while he's paralyzed. Can you make me a wisdom save, please?
I'll come up behind him and bonk him on the head.
I reckon, yeah, wisdom's probably worse than his dex, unless it's the caster. No, we'll go hold person.
That's going to be a fail because that's going to be 4.
Beautiful. He is paralyzed. He can't move or speak. Quinny just like reaches out a hand and just taps him on the forehead. And then I want to hurry over Ethel to come over here. Get him, kill him, do something.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
would
hold
like
this
to.
forever.
If we can we try and drag him into the ghost house
I'll help. Very slowly.
Okay, so
while he's in whole person?
So while
Yep.
this is working, he gets to make a save at the end of each of his turns.
How many seconds do you think
That's
it
fine.
takes
We
to carry
need to
him
get him
across?
inside, and then we can tie him with word pins up.
Mechanically, moving
Oh.
15 feet.
How does grapple work if you're paralyzed?
Actually, I can hold concentration while I'm in animal form. I'd like to wild shape into a milk-born lynx, I think they're called. It has a 70-foot movement speed, and then I want to run, haul him 35 feet towards the house.
sorry, I love
think
your wild
70 is my
shapes.
best, speed.
So I'm kind of a lynx.
No,
Oh yes,
sorry, a
we've got.
moorbound-
Oh, you want to be a
moorbound
moorbounder?
concentration.
Okay.
The highest speed, which is
Okay.
70 feet.
Can you
Fine.
wild shape into something like a funnel?
I could. They kind of suck, but I could do it.
But then you could have
Yeah, but
This
you
is true.
carry
I
something.
don't know
There you
the
go.
benefits of
So
the
there's your moorbounder,
Wonderful. And then I'm going 35 feet towards the house.
and taking him with you.
Yes.
and I'll be following.
Okay.
And seeing what's happening, we
I
can
guess
also
it's
follow
We'll
along.
also just drift over there.
Okay. So you're all now heading over to
Over to the old comfort house.
Herod's house, which obviously you've clearly got the run of the place because you've laid Herod to rest. So
That's our base.
Yeah.
that's your new base of operations.
Operation.
Nice.
Did you
Okay.
Windmill
use
two
psychic
electrical.
link? So I can talk? Wonderful. I'm going to tell you hit him.
I
To do all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff.
He doesn't make extra saves when he takes damage, and he currently can't move and he's prone, so fucking beat him.
you said hit him, and how many of us
A lot.
there? All of us?
All of them.
You're all there.
I am going to relay that. No, it takes so long.
Relate it to one of
Why?
Just
Why don't we? If you're
point.
going to be vicious, why don't we roll for initiative? And he obviously doesn't get a turn in this order anyway. So,
There was a net
Well,
one on
he makes a
Save at the end of his
he
turn.
makes a save at the end of his turn.
Oh,
but he'll go at the bottom
I
of the
was checking my
initiative.
Oh, I follow you. Sorry.
Sorry, I was clear as mud.
You're like still trying to signal everyone that we should be on. And
Okay,
everyone's
Ethard, where are you up?
23.
24. Okay.
Shaking my cane.
Zephyr.
A net one for 3.
Nice. Sweet. Harleen.
Get the net one out of the way, please.
Okay. Quinny.
7.
Okay. Malachi.
12.
Look, I've got a 70-foot movement speed.
Okay.
Which takes a while.
So, Ethardwy, Quinny, Malachi, Harleen, Zephyr. In that order. We'll omit Izek on this turn, and he can make his wisdom save at the end. So everybody gets a free turn, and he doesn't get to go on this phase of the action because he is paralysed. Go. Ethardwy, you're up.
Okay. Well, I can do assassinate.
Yeah. Would you describe him as surprised currently?
I describe him as frozen, and his pupils have dilated, but nothing else has moved. Or his pupils look like they're trying to dilate, but kind of, if you look really closely, they're just kind
Just
of
like
like
sweating with
slightly
nothing else.
twitching at the edges.
Well, assassinate doesn't just give you the doesn't just give you the critical hit. Even if it's not surprise, it means you get advantage.
Oh, neat. So you get your
But
speed.
only if they haven't had a turn yet.
Oh, cool.
So
He's not had a turn.
Yeah, so there's
He has
two
not had a
answers.
turn,
Oh,
and he is
okay.
he has not had a turn. He is very surprised. You would have advantage anyway because he is currently paralysed.
So, I do
So
get
attacks
surprise.
on him have
Paralysed
advantage.
and prone and flamed.
So it can be a critical hit. Is what you're saying.
It's ultimately yes. It's a critical hit.
With my daggers or what?
Whatever you like.
It depends whether or not you want
just
to kill him.
normal-
If you're doing lethal or non-lethal damage. Wailing on the unconscious, paralysed dude.
The kid halfling walks up and just goes for like 50 bludgeoning.
Or can I flick it and do the hilts of the daggers?
I like that.
Whatever you fancy.
Alright, that sounds wonderful.
But I believe the brief was don't kill him.
Kill him.
No. Oh.
Read the card.
You'll be pleased to know wisdom is not on his strongest saves.
Super concussion.
And leave them hanging upside down.
Yeah, that's just it. Yeah, that's not good. I get advantage, don't I?
Yes, you do.
That's plus for that. Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh,
Hey!
much better. Went from a 6 and a 5 to nat 20 and an 18.
With plus 8 to each of them.
Oh,
But the crit
they
doesn't matter
hit.
because they get crits anyway.
yeah. They hit. They both hit.
So what am I doing? So I did still do the damage.
So
Yeah,
you
so
roll
they
as
damage, you
normal, and then also add max damage.
Oh, right.
They on
Yeah.
3d6 for sneak
So
attack?
you're
I wasn't even thinking of sneak attack.
yeah, you get that as well, and that would also be critted.
Yeah, my apologies. I haven't played Ethical for like a month, so.
There's a lot of dice. You can roll them all. I think is the you.
3d6.
Yeah. So you're also going to double your sneak attack. So that's going to be 18 plus whatever you roll for sneak attack.
So basically 18
Plus whatever you
two
roll.
of these.
What's your mod? Oh no, it's not double modifier, is it? So cool. Whatever you roll plus 22.
Whatever I roll plus 20. Alright.
And your modifier. Whatever you roll plus your modifier plus 22.
So 1d4. Sorry for all the questions.
It's all right. Just roll your damage. Come, roll the damage.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Uh,
Only because that's the best bit.
That's 9.
And what's your dex?
My dex. My proficiency bonus.
No, just
No.
your standard score.
Plus 5.
So
14.
36.
Yeah, 36. Okay. So you whack him with both hills, and he obviously makes absolutely no sound, no response at all. The lights are still on.
And
Yeah.
somebody is home.
If somebody with no facial expressions and no muscle movement could look angry, he looks angry, but he doesn't look unconscious.
Is it like the eyes, Because when you paralyze, the eyes still...
No, they don't. They don't. No, he's got nothing. It looks like, if you look really closely, like you're trying to look into his soul, looks like his pupils are desperately trying to dilate. Unsuccessfully.
The individual's turn, so most likely it's a 3 rolls.
Okay,
So it's only a DC 16.
we'll disengage.
Easy.
Yep. Okay. Queenie,
Can I make a swipe at him? I got a claw attack as this thing.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
a non-fatal claw attack?
Yeah, it's like a
Yep.
giant cat.
Yeah.
So like a good box
Yeah.
around the head. That is
More bad. Yeah.
13
13 misses.
misses. Quinny pats on her own back from it.
Malik.
It's only got 1 attack, so that's
Okie dokie.
me done. Bonus action. And I'll move another 35 feet.
Pulling him with you.
Pulling him with me, yeah.
Are you going into the house?
Uh,
or round the side?
I
Or...
think probably into the house. We want privacy here.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I'll kind of look to Harleen for some direction.
Okay.
To the house.
Cool. I'll
Okay.
go into the house.
I'm assuming everybody's following. You can do that within movement. Yeah.
If I drop him down the stairs, will that cause some damage?
The
Or
stairs are going up.
Other stairs are only going. Cool.
Yeah. If you want to, you can close the door behind you because there's doors to this
Yeah.
place. If you remember, you picked the lock the last time you were here.
We'll go down.
Okay, fine. There you go. Right. So Malachi, Harleen, Zephyr in that order.
I'm going to cast Bless on Harleen, Zephyr, and
That's a D4, isn't it?
D4 on
yeah.
Attacks and saves. It's
Um,
combat guidance,
And then I will cast
which I never use other than in those,
spiritual weapon.
other than in the duels.
Spiritual weapon.
Okay.
I think you can make a bonk with that. Can't you?
Yes. Bonk.
Nice.
Chicken drumstick.
Chicken drumstick.
Oh, that's probably going to be.
What would they do?
Let me see if I can.
It feels like a
I
good
No, I
do.
think it
idea.
should just be a feature.
You're going to bonk with your spiritual weapon?
Small
Yeah.
dice to keep it
We've got advantage to these.
No, it's anyway.
Yeah. And he's flanked in every which way round.
You definitely helped because I went from a 2 to 17.
17 hits.
Yeah, so that's 25 hits.
Yeah.
You say it hits.
Use bardic inspiration for attacks.
That is 7 damage.
Okay.
20 jail.
Oh, no, for 7.
Okay.
20 jail.
Harleen, you're up.
Harley would like to take the board out of her bag and tie up this guard.
Tie up Izek.
Yes.
Okay. You can use your
The
action.
whole person isn't gonna.
Roll a straight dexterity check. So he's in terms of how well you manage to secure those. Harley's tying him up for her action.
Very good.
That's a 19.
Yeah,
Do
you'll.
I get advantage because he's.
You can take it. Yeah, you've got some.
Just in case.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of time. He's not wriggling or moving against his bonds.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
We'll go with the 19. Not that one.
Okie dokie. So with the 19, you're pretty confident that you've got him pretty well restrained and pretty well tied up. He certainly wouldn't be able to, immediately use a weapon, for example.
Can I look a bit closer at his hands, like the damaged one?
Yeah.
Like is his hands attached to his body, right? Or is it like a mechanically?
Doesn't look mechanical. It looks like it looks like really badly damaged flesh, and he's got his sort of jacket and he's got sort of padded armor on underneath, and he's got a jacket that sort of comes down to below the elbow on both sides, sort of like 3/4 length tight sleeves, and you can't see above that just from looking.
Would it be too much asked to not only just tie him up, but to potentially can I drench a piece of cloth with water from my water skin and wrap it around his arm?
Not as part of. Are you still in disguise at this point? No. So not as part of this action, but you can certainly drench the water skin. But you wouldn't be able to go through the whole thing. But you could do part of that.
I can use left to cast a spell.
Okay.
And then I'm out of third level slots.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I
Back.
just thought,
And-
water,
Oh, it's a
fire,
great
idea. Yeah.
darn mixture.
So you
I'll
can
do-
get
I'll
your
prepare
water.
that.
You can prepare that.
I'll
Okay,
prepare that for
Zephyr.
next time.
Yeah, I am going to have a sense. I choose him.
Okay, well, there is something.
You don't choose one
I
up.
mean,
Who
we
knew?
learn whether he has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities.
Yep.
And if the creature is not within my donation magic.
He does not appear to have any particular immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. He does not appear to be hidden from.
Okay, good. He's not some random thing in disguise. That's really
Not some random thing in disguise.
Not a-
What do you think I am? I mean,
This is rude.
I think you're running Curse of Strahd.
everybody's out to kill you all the time.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, with my bonus action, could I feasibly, grab the cloth off her and shove it in his mouth?
I don't want it in his mouth. I need to talk to him.
You can try and use your bonus action to get the wet cloth off Harleen and shove it in the wrong place if you want to. You might need to roll. You might need to do a contested strength check to try and against Harleen.
Oh, beat a 23. Sorry, a 22.
Yeah, that was a 17. I don't even think I can beat
I
it.
just
Still a
that's
decent,
scary.
but that's like
I rolled a
hell of a
natural
cover.
19 plus 3, so heartbeat. I just glare at you
So I try to grab this cloth and be like, no!
Sorry.
We're gonna do something
So-
wrong.
So at the end of his turn, he rolls an 18 on
That
his
is
wisdom save.
He is no longer paralyzed.
So he's no longer paralysed. Okay, so we're at the top of the order. So Etherdwe is up first, then Queenie, then Malachi, then it's Izek's turn, then Harleen, then Zephyr. So he's currently lying in a pool of his own blood where he's slowly oozing from these wounds with a bit of a sort of spiritually glowing bonk on the head where he got hit by the glowing mace and writhing on the floor against his bonds. And did you You kept your wet cloth, didn't you? So he's sort of writhing on the floor,
So he's
and
paralyzed, but he's still taking a turn.
and goes,
Saving throw.
"You will pay for this! What on earth are you doing?" And he's trying to break free of his bonds. And while he does that, you because you're close enough to see, the whole of that blackened section of arm just starts, almost looks like threads of lava through it, just starts to start burning. And where he's got ropes, they start to smoke where they're going over his arm.
So is it like, is he wearing a shirt or what's he got?
He's got sort of padded armor. He's come out in the evening. He's not come out in full battle dress because, like,
He was just
obviously nobody like hangs out in their full armor all the time. So he's come to collect his stuff from Blinsky. So he's sort of,
So is his arm sort of,
he has his
like,
weapons.
is it from the elbow down or is it
From what you can see, this arm looks like a normal arm. This arm is this sort of withered black flesh. So it looks like, it doesn't look mechanical. It doesn't look like it's made of metal or wood or anything. It's not a construct. Looks like flesh. And as far as you can see, which you can only see to about here, and then it's up under clothes, it appears to be one hand is all withered and blackened and abnormal and appears to catch fire on a regular basis.
Whose turn is that?
So you're at the top of the order. So it's Etherdwy, Quinny, Malachi.
I have something on my turn.
So Etherdwy, you're up.
okay?
He's lying in a pool of his own blood. There's a faint perspiration breaking out on his forehead.
Make him stress.
I was to do exactly the same
Make
thing
him,
that I did
make him
before.
beg for mercy.
Who's just your number one thing?
One of them
Well, I
is
think
it.
we're gonna find out soon, aren't we?
What, a 13 and a 26.
26 hits.
I get sneak attack, don't
Yes.
Yeah, he is engaged with several things in a more bad.
He is
He's
currently-
distracted and tied up and prone
and flanked.
and flanked. So yeah,
And we're all within 5 foot of him. That's nice.
it's a 5-on-1
Bonk.
takedown.
I? 21.
Okay.
And then I'll be some
I will assume that everybody is trying to do non-lethal damage unless they say otherwise. Yeah?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that is disengage.
Okay. Fine. Quinny, you're up.
I will.
That's what I'm
drop my wild shape.
Pardon?
I will drop my wild shape and just kind of run a hand over his arm and dispel magic again.
Okay.
Spell slot. And then I would like to, for my object interaction, and then if I can, I'd like to find if he has a spellcasting focus on him.
Okay. So you can roll investigation if you're good look at him. His arm, it almost, it's just like it recedes. They just sort of, all the flame kind of recedes.
16.
There doesn't appear to be.
Cool, in that case, I'll just grab. You said he had weapons on it?
Yeah,
Can I
he's
just object interaction, just grab
Yes.
whatever weapon he has? And
You
just
can
chuck it
indeed.
across the room?
Yeah, so
Unless it
he
looks-
has a giant battle axe, big double-headed battle axe on his back, which you're welcome to take
I'll
off.
Grab that and just chuck it over on the ground.
Okay.
De-weapon him. Good idea. In case he tries to fight back.
Roll, while you're going down there and looking for a spell, roll perception.
Love perception checks. I'm great at those. That is a crit fail.
Okay.
You
You
don't
you
do shit.
I mean, that's a
You-
crit fail for a 9. Still.
you notice that he's got this big axe. You're quite happy he's got no other weapons.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's
Hands
completely unarmed. I've saved the day once again.
Hand-
Nothing could go wrong.
hand perplexing you a
Oh,
little.
have this.
I'll take a battle axe.
Fine. Malachi, you're up. Unless Quinny, you want to do anything else.
I'll probably take a step away from him, just so I'm not in immediate melee distance, just in case.
Okay. Move
Is it a
off.
battle axe that he's giving me?
Yeah, it's a double-headed battle axe, two-handed battle axe that he's given you. Well, Quinny's
Nice.
given you. She's given you. Yes. Malachi, you're up.
I'm going to hold my burning hands for basically when if Harley gives her permission to
Incinerate him. Okay.
And give him another bomb. Non-lethal bomb. Let's work.
With your pray to my god. Pray to my god. Pray to my god.
No, you go to Horty Jail.
Is it just a
Okay.
regular battle axe?
Yes, it is. It's pretty nice, but yeah, it's a regular battle axe.
Not as
You
nice
never
as
know.
my
You know,
Horty.
head of the guard might have a nice battle.
Pardon? So, did you hit him with your spiritual weapon?
Oh yeah. It's not the picture. Oh. Wait, do I still have advantage?
Yeah, he's tied up and restrained.
So that's 25 to hit.
Hits.
10 bludgeoning.
Okay. He's looking significantly battered. He's still conscious. And
As I do, I'll say, why you have things of my friend following?
he just it's like, what the fuck? Essentially, is the what the fuck? He's just sort of looking around. He looks like a sort of caged animal at the moment, rather than okay. So it's Izek's turn. Izek is going to try and start to muscle his way out of these ropes, and fails miserably. Hold on. To be fair, he might not fail miserably. Ethically would have failed miserably. Oh, okay.
You said it. Can't change it. Can't take it back.
Can't take it back.
No, takes his back. So it's the rule -1 of D&D.
To be fair, with a 2 for a 6, he's struggling, but those bonds are tight and held. He's like, what the fuck do you all want? Who are you and what do you want? Is this to do with the Burgomaster? Are you,
Harley
Quinn
just like
is standing
stops
behind him,
and
out of his
stares
line of
all
sight,
Are you
and
the-
just going.
No, not yet. I'll be doing that one as soon as my turn.
you're the group that came to dinner. And he carries on struggling. Harleen, you're up.
Harley would like step directly in front of him,
Okay.
and she would remove her disguise and see what his reaction is.
The soon as you do that, the colour just drains from his
She's kind of
face.
got this like kind of twisted smile on her face, like Betty you weren't expecting this sort of thing.
He goes, Danya, what are you doing here?
Danya. kind of look around to the
What?
look around the group and I go, no, who is this Danya? As
You
she,
went.
like, fiddles with the battle axe.
You've been missing for 20 years.
But I'm right here. I'm obviously not missing.
He just looks, well,
Why don't we have Bash with his goddamn detect thoughts? Just want to put that out there. Goddamn you, Bash.
I don't know, he's gone shopping or gone for a drink or having an early night.
Sending very strongly.
Alright, you're all outside.
He's probably gone to read that dodgy book that he's got.
Oh dear.
No, not the dodgy book.
why are you doing this to me?
Remember-
Why are you doing
remember
this
all
to
the
me?
insight check to see if she's like telling the truth.
Yep.
Ryan's character Miranda also has a curse book with the double edge.
No, it's just like the kiss.
Yes, no, that's
It's not a book.
7 plus 4, so 11.
Difficult.
Also, we're still in the
Sorry, difficult. He just seems really confused and distressed, but you're really difficult to read in terms of whether this is an act or whether this is all honest. You can't really get a read on it at all.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Zephyr?
I am going to lean on my staff, so look him in the eyes and say, well, you best start talking, don't you? And I'm going to hold my action to hit him with my cane in the shins if he doesn't start talking.
Okay. All right.
And that's my turn.
Okay. Ethelwyn, you're up.
Right.
Can we just go into interrogation mode?
It depends what everybody else does before it gets to his turn.
More damage or?
How many a set of manacles in your equipment kit?
I mean, I
Does
don't
he
know.
have a set of manacles?
I really think.
Does
my-
he have a set of manacles
That was a
on him?
good question.
That
He
is a very good
does
question.
have a set of manacles on him.
I guess.
Him being head of the guard as he is, yes.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
assumed he was.
Actually, I grabbed some manacles. Someone has manacles.
No, well, if he has, you said he has.
He has.
Then can I get them? And I presume I should be able to work it out how to unlock them or whatever.
Yep.
I think
Probably
Oh,
with
you
the-
keep unlocked
the
everything.
key.
Special gloves, I think.
He has keys on his belt
And
as
and
well.
probably remember
No one.
It'd probably be quicker for him to pick it.
I've got the
Figuring
filter
out
of love. We should make him
paperclip
charmed
or whatever.
you if you want. Then we'll probably answer
And
your
then
question.
where do you want me to handcuff him to?
Just in case.
It's not
He might answer
crazy.
questions. He does well, he's not.
Is there like a,
Then
I don't know, like a pole or something holding up the roof that I could
he
handcuff
seems
him to?
obsessed with
There's not really a pole holding up the roof. There's the big staircase, and there's mainly just the sort of lots of really old and wrecked furniture. You're looking around. There's probably the nearest thing you could handcuff him to. There's like a sort of a kitchen kind of work unit over in this far sort of corner, this far edge down here. It's got some sort of pretty sturdy legs. I mean, I guess he's currently bound and doesn't appear to be able to get away from those. If you were going to, that's the most sturdy thing. It's not fixed to the floor though.
Alright, old
Because
handcuff.
if you handcuff his two arms together, you might just melt through.
I think I've got something to do with his arm on a more permanent basis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just cut it
Yeah,
off.
yeah, right.
I'm gonna threaten to cut it.
Is his hand hot to touch?
not currently. But the
He knows it's
spell.
not resistant to
It's
fire.
not, but
Yeah,
as you look, you can see
I've got this
flame starting to run through it.
Okay. Well,
Roll, you see it as well. This sort of flame coming back down his arm. Roll either medicine or arcana. Same medicine or arcana. Got proficiency in
There's a
either.
3 on the dice.
Sweet.
Total of 8.
4.
No, that's
Not like anything. Okay. Neither of you.
Yeah, looks like an arm.
You're pretty convinced. You're pretty convinced that this arm is full of the fires of hell, and you are just like, I've not seen anything like this before. But it's not behaving like
Does it
arcane
seem
magic. It doesn't seem fey.
Okay.
It is nothing.
Can't be good thing.
You've sort of sniffed it and
Calm
gone,
down.
yeah, it doesn't feel fey. But it also doesn't feel like a spell as such.
Okay.
It's not behaving in the way you would expect. It just sort of keeps sort of flowing down that
there's
arm.
a staircase with like a rail or something.
To banister.
Yeah, it's all pretty falling to pieces. You get the feeling that a couple of good kicks and it would all sort of come crumbling down. This house hasn't been lived in for sort of...
Manacle one hand to one leg.
That's a good idea. I'll do that.
Okay,
The non-burning.
That is
okay,
pretty hard to run.
okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. That's
so we've manacled his non-burning hand to his
opposite
ankle.
leg.
To his opposite leg, like a giant game of Barovian Twister. Like okay. And Izek's like, what the fuck? Danya, call off your dogs. Call them off.
Hey.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
That's the
Is
other
everyone
one.
happy to go out of initiative order
Yeah.
there? That he
Fine.
seems pretty.
Yep, he has stopped making any attempt to... I mean, he's like this now, but he's also stopped making any attempt. He's just like looking at you going, what the fuck? Why are you doing this?
So
But not fighting.
Is there a way to see out the front door without standing outside the front window?
Yeah, there's a couple of there's a sort of window here and another one on this sort of side. So they're relatively small, pretty grimy.
Awesome. I'd love to look out. I'd love to just keep looking out.
this might be
Yep. Yeah, you've not really seen anything. This doesn't look like it looks like the guards are probably more interested in making sure everybody's home, and this house has been abandoned for a really long time, so it certainly doesn't appear to be something that they're routinely paying much attention to.
Cool.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give
They're on sort of pre-festival.
an advantage. Do you want advantage on charisma checks?
Sure.
Cool. And then I will cast enhance ability equals splendor on Arwen.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Because that's what's next to them.
No, for me, backstory wise, didn't really give me much. Do
I
I
know.
remember much about my childhood or anything like that?
Not really. You remember growing up in Matlock. You lived with your grandmother there. Your parents had died when you were very young, so you were brought up by your grandmother, and she funded your education. Was very keen that you receive all the best education. She worked pretty hard as a sort of textile merchant, and spent all her money basically on making sure that you were sort of educated, and you showed aptitude with sort of tracking criminals and things like that. And she just basically put lots of investment into developing the things that you were talented in.
And does it ring a bell to you at all?
Danya? No, it doesn't ring a bell.
No, but is it, like, the name of the guard, does that ring a bell to you?
Izek?
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. I know not of this Danya that you speak of. My name is Harleen.
How long's your name been Harleen?
Ever since I can remember.
Then you just can't remember far enough back. And he just looks sad.
What is your relationship to this Danya?
She's my sister.
I don't have any brothers.
Oh!
Malachi rein it in. Sorry. Go on.
What is this, Strata?
This is not like Vampire Love Diaries. No, wrong. Bit of broken. You can go there one time. Yeah.
So where do you hail from? Where are you born?
Small talk.
I have been here my entire life. You were here. We grew up.
Here.
We grew up here.
Isn't this town?
We grew up here. You were very small. You don't remember. You were too young.
I don't trust you.
Fair.
Why?
Right now, I am the one who shouldn't really trust you. I have my hand cuffed to my leg and beaten and bruised by your band of whatever. Anyway, why are you here? Why are you in Barovia?
We just ended up.
We just ended up here. We got a letter, didn't we? We got a letter.
Somebody came in a
Yeah.
woman in a top hat
Yeah, the top
and
hat.
in your house, and
What was the
you
purpose
disappeared
of
into
that?
I don't know. You disappeared into some kind of weird thing that happened to be in your study that wasn't usually there, and ended up coming out in the middle of a forest near a gate in a misty place.
I know not why I am in Barovia, but I know why I have you here.
Why have you got me here?
Well, I mean, my friends told me about dolls. I mean, would you want to inquire why somebody has hundreds of dolls of you that are identical to what
I
you
have hundreds of dolls of my sister. as she was growing up.
And to what she looks like now. How do you know what she looks like now?
Because I see her in my head.
In your head.
And he sits back and he goes, "You don't remember anything, do you? We went out. We went out into the mountains. We went hunting for food. With mother and father, we went out. And we were, when you were very small, by the wolves, by the werewolf clan in the mountains north of here. They were killed. You were carried off. I assumed you were dead. I was injured and left for dead next to them. I was 10. You were maybe, what? You'd been 2.5, nearly 3.
Just so you know, I did roll for insight. I got that one. So I fully believe this guy.
With a nat 1, you are completely convinced that this is all fabrication.
Also, don't believe it.
You're completely convinced this is made up. This doesn't make any sense at all. This is somebody spinning a tale to try and get out of a sticky situation, who's bleeding very slowly all over the floor from his various wounds.
So how did you survive the attack? And what happened with this gesture at his arm?
I was left without an arm. I lost my arm in that attack and was left bleeding to death next to the bodies of Marv and father in the snow. I didn't die. I took off my shirt and I tied it around my arm and staggered through the forest. I couldn't find you. You'd gone. They'd gone. I ended up at Kresk, at the abbey in Kresk, and the abbot there. Well, you know, he tended to my wounds and made me an arm. It made me an arm. I've been stuck with it since I was 10. I'm kind of used to it now, I guess. And I came back here, and the Baron took me in, and he trained me, and I became his guard. He thought that the arm that catches fire would work well for enforcing the will of the city. So I grew up there, and under the Baron, you know, Vargas Vlachovich's father brought me up with his son Vargas, who's, you know, I'm wondering what's happened to him, but he currently isn't at home. He kind of looks at everybody, and he brought me up there, and I started having visions regularly every night. I couldn't sleep every night of this young child, and with the werewolves, and then I would see her in my dreams, and I couldn't sleep, and I asked Blinsky to make the image of my sister because she was lost. And I hunted as I grew older. I hunted trying to find you and trying to find the werewolves up in the mountains, and couldn't. I looked and I looked and I looked, and the dreams kept coming, and the dreams kept coming. And Blinsky made images, and I knew you weren't dead.
You can see how this is a bit unsettling.
Can I do an insight check? See if I can get one.
Help action.
How are you helping?
Guidance. Actually, I take that back. My insight's really good. I might just do one myself if that's okay.
23.
Good anyway.
Okay.
Higher than that. I'm sorry, I lied. 23. What have I got? Plus 8, I think it is. Insight? Plus 8, so 26.
Okay, with a 23 and a 26.
28.
All right, with a 23 and a 28, you
Okay, Jim.
you are both really confident that he's telling the truth.
Well, that's
Is this going to be fun?
This complicates things so much more now.
I think we can
I don't know.
I'm quite.
It's because I get the
How much of that wine did you drink?
Got through 3/4 of the thing of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprise me.
Harleen, I think he's telling the truth. Should we, we'll stop beating him up. Should we, be a little...
That's a new thing for you to say. Let's just stop
Yeah.
beating him up.
Okay. Well, with them saying that he's telling the truth, I will ask Quinny for the key and unlock the manacles.
I don't have the key.
Sorry,
I can just unlock it.
He just looks at it funny. And he's like, pops open.
I will ask Ethelbreed to open up the manacles.
Are you going to use the key or are you picking the locks? Okay, go on then, roll lock picking
Roll
check.
your sleight of hand.
Purely for the nat one.
Which he gets to reroll anyway.
Halflings. Yeah.
Plus 16 to sleight of hand.
Plus 6. Oh, you've got.
Yeah, 23.
You just sort of go with your lockpick. You just literally stick it in hole and go, fucking shoddy. You know, it doesn't even twist. It just puts it in and they ping open. It's just amateur. Just like.
It's like those two padlocks that you bang them together.
Yeah. So you have unmanacled him, and he sort of shakes his wrist. He's still bound pretty tightly, and he's making no effort to try and get out of those bindings.
She's running the show.
So should we tell him that what's going on?
I think that's a terrible idea.
What? Telling.
What do you want to tell me?
Up the bombs.
No, leave the bombs
We
for
think
now.
there's
We're
gonna be-
still-
Whoa!
Whoa! Somebody get
I
him
like him.
now.
I trust him. I think he's good.
What happened to you? You were cool, Flappers. You've never trusted anybody.
Well, now it's his sister. It makes sense now. I thought he was just a horny pervert.
We did the
I mean,
DNA.
it's still
It's true.
Okay.
You're so fickle.
Well,
Yeah, he's okay now.
okay. What? Complete sidestep because that's going to take a hot minute for my brain to absorb all of that. My next question for you: What are your thoughts on the Baron? Is he a Baron and the family?
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
The Baron's family.
Because we have heard mixed things.
Yes, okay.
The Baron's family took me in when I was an orphan. Otherwise, I'd have had to live at the orphanage next to St Andrew's.
But that
Bit
was
of a
his
shithole.
father, was it not?
Yeah, and
Just
he.
because his father was nice doesn't mean that he is nice.
Oh, he wasn't a nice man. He beat me and he beat Vargas growing up. He was a pretty fucking nasty man, but he took me in when I had nowhere to go, and he's so I grew up with Vargas. He was 15, 16. I was 10. He was like my big brother. His father, dad, he was a shit. Not like our parents. But he gave me a home and I was fed. And as I grew older, they gave me a job and gave me work. And I owe them a lot. Are they nice people? Probably not so much. Have I done things in their service that would be considered bad? Probably.
that Mum and Dad would be disappointed in.
He raises an eyebrow and goes, "You don't even appear to know who they were. How would you know?"
I mean, I would assume most parents would be disappointed in a lot of things that you might have done.
And he looks reflective, and he
That's why I
goes.
said most parents, not all parents.
He looks reflective and goes, "I don't think they would like what I've become, but I never gave up hope that you had survived, and I never stopped looking for you, and I think they would be proud of the fact that I survived against the odds, and I've never given up hope that you did too."
You always find salvation
He goes, "Okay," and looks warily at your spiritual weapon, which is still hovering in the air, having clubbed him on the head a few times. He goes, "I remember
I'll
that."
Turn to,
So Father
Boy
Lucian
and
says,
Father Lucian, and gesture to the thingy to move it away. Move the spiritual weapon away, please.
like
Like,
upstairs.
just put it above him.
"Okay,
Can you like grab this virtual weapon, or
No.
does it have to
no,
be-
it's
They're only 20 feet around, so probably not.
you can't hold your spiritual weapon. It's sort of spiritual.
Go I'm in the corner.
What
You
is-
can't use it to flank with and things like that either.
And what is
Sure.
what are your opinions of the current baroness?
The current baroness,
Mess.
well,
Sisters,
the current baroness, she
painful.
So she's a witch.
she is kind,
That's not very nice.
and she's a quiet power, but is kind. She's not. She doesn't have the evil within her that Vargas and his father had. That was very much their line. She is pretty distraught, not about Vargas disappearing, but things befell her son.
Can I roll a deception check to see if I can hold in the fact that we know what happened to her?
You can,
She definitely knows that you killed her son.
yeah,
Oh yeah, she was in.
Cool.
and that she was there, and Etherdry was there.
And I'm guessing she probably told the guy.
She does seem to be keen to continue the police state, though. So, like,
17.
you know,
Oh, I managed to hold it together.
You think you've managed to hold it together, and then he looks at Malachi and goes, "Those that fall from the Morning Lord garner little sympathy. Sometimes we all do things that might be not 100% on the right side of the law."
So he knows.
wise.
I'm gonna interject here and say,
Oh yeah, feel free to interrupt.
family's nice enough, but I have some questions. And while you're tied up, even if you are for your sake, I still want some answers. What is the purpose of the festival?
You know what's going for that.
Okay. He sort of looks at you and goes, "Interesting, folks. The purpose of the festivals, the Velakovich family use the festivals as a means of exerting control, of reminding everybody who's in charge, reminding everybody that it is only by doing what they're told and serving the family in the way that they are advised to do so that they remain safe. It's a way that the Velakovich family have remain in control of the populace, whatever they do, is by promising their safety in exchange for obedience, and public displays of that obedience are important."
And what was the Baron's relationship with Strahd and the Baron? Not Baron. To be more.
The Baron's relationship with Strahd,
And the Baron. Or
they hate Strahd. And everybody in Vallaki, most people in Vallaki hate Strahd. I mean, we're all stuck here in this hell pit of a place
So
because
why-
of him.
So why doesn't Strahd come?
He's too busy torturing those wretches down in Barovia, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's the festival. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the church. Maybe it's not. Just not been seen around these parts for a really long time.
No, in front of me.
Yep.
That's more than me. 12.
You're not swung one way or the other. You think he certainly doesn't really know why Strahd doesn't come. He's hypothesizing, but you don't think he knows, and you don't think that he thinks that the Baron was in something with Strahd. He's pretty genuine about that.
If the Baron was gone, who do you think should lead the town? Do you think the Baron was a good ruler?
Well, not he clearly said the Baron was a shit person.
Yeah.
The
but,
Baron-
like, shit person versus, the best there was.
The Baron did
Does he
what
sound
needed
fun?
to be done. Have you been anywhere else in Barovia other than Valaki?
No,
Okay. And how was that for you?
it was quite lovely. We'd been a family that look after the winery.
Uh-huh.
They were quite nice people.
Okay.
You're going to talk about the
And
way. Put that over the where
and then we met some gypsies who told our fortunes.
Uh-huh.
They had quite nice help.
Uh-huh. They do.
Then we
Yeah.
had the ghost kids. You remember the ghost
Yeah,
kids?
yeah.
They were kind of nice.
Okay.
That wasn't exactly nice or pleasant. That was pretty bad.
So you've been down south. You've been in Barovia Village.
Yeah.
And, how did you find that? Thriving? Lots of,
Living healthy, happy people.
healthy, happy people, lots of trade, thriving economy, yeah, all those things that we have here because the place runs efficiently and the populace know how the things run and are clear about what the rules are and the expectations. The Baron did what the Baron needed to do to make this a safe and prosperous place.
So am I
He's
getting?
not been drinking the Kool-Aid of the Baron.
Little
Yeah, am I
bit,
getting that?
He grew up there. So the Baron was like 15, 16 when he was taken in as a 10-year-old. So the Baron, who may or may not currently be dead / missing / assassinated, was effectively his big brother.
Yeah. So he's all for it.
Well, there is certainly complicated Stockholm syndrome / all for him at play.
That's
So
what
he-
I was
so
It
imagining
seems very
was
cool
that,
that
like,
the general police
he's
say
not
fine.
anti the Baron. He's still like on the Baron's side. even
Overall.
though he's just-
Yeah. Yeah, you can't exactly be anti-Thingo and be the head of the protocol.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
certainly
that's what
not.
I'm saying. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not our friend, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All
He's
for
not
it.
obviously. He also doesn't seem to obviously be interested in taking over, of having that power. It's much more that the Baron was my big brother, and as he grew up and took charge, I became head of the guard. That's kind of
And
how
what
it
about
works.
the Baroness? How does she work with the situation? When did she meet the Baron?
She's the younger sister of Father Lucian. He's a good man. Yeah.
Still alive.
The
Yeah.
yeah. So they they met. She. I don't think he was kind to Lydia. I think he had a cruel streak.
The Baron.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of the Watcher family?
Powerful. Powerful and interested in more power. I wouldn't trust them. The Baron doesn't trust them.
doesn't matter what the Baron thinks about it, he's done. Not saying that in character. That was not in character.
Why do I feel like we could just be taking out one evil person and replacing them with an even worse person?
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of second guess this whole helping the Watchers.
But who's
But
the...
we already knew the Watchers were bad. It's
Oh.
just they're going to take control.
Vasily
destroy
von
us
Holt,
health
he would be good at
regardless.
charge.
So the only reason we wanted help in it was to try
So
to
was
prevent
Marlene.
Less collateral damage to orphans and yeah. Okay.
Sound empathy.
Because we can't take on
Tell you what else would use collateral damage. If the town guard went and arrested all the Watcher family. Because even if Strahd shows up by himself, you can't exactly install them if they're not alive anymore.
Oh, you mean if the guard
If
killed
the Watcher family just disappears
What
to nothing.
if?
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
So this festival
But then,
of
but
ours,
what
there's
Strahd
good one,
goes
yes.
like, okay, well, now I
A
know
fun,
that
positive,
this
happy,
city anymore, it just destroys the
no
environment.
It's a tool for
That's a lot of effort.
Coup. It's a tool for
Why not?
exerting control. The festivals are all much of a muchness. Everybody comes down to the town square. There's some speeches. The Festival of the Blazing Sun's an annual affair. They light the sun. And, we bring light into Vallaki and we talk about how it's safe and everybody cheers and it reinstates the fact that all is well and
but
it's
what if
a...
tomorrow's festival is not safe?
Why would that be the case? Why would it not be safe? They've been safe for years. I make sure that it's safe.
Well, do you often have travellers at these festivals?
You planning on disrupting the festival now?
No. I'm just asking.
You did
In
kill the
general.
Baron, didn't you?
I wasn't there. There was a period of time where we were...
I don't know. You weren't there. You were spying on him. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. You weren't there,
But
but you do know. So you can roll deception if that's what you say, because you do know.
Sifra is just gonna talk to her perfectly about Harleen and be
19.
like, "You were really good with your words."
And you are rolling at advantage for charisma-based checks.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, I'll take that 19
Smashing headache right now.
rather than that nat 1 for the second roll. So, yeah, 19 perception. So.
And he's just looking around and goes, well, you weren't there. You were at the guardhouse.
Oh, you weren't there.
I wasn't there when you
No,
guys
she
killed.
Oh.
was
I was at the guardhouse.
I
I had
thought you
to
were
see
just
her
lying
there.
for no reason.
He just sort of rolls his eyes like, ugh. I've been investigating the Baron going missing. That's like been my job, as head of the guard. And the guards for the other night mentioned that they'd seen somebody of your description hanging around by the guardhouse. I'd have been there. I was playing cards that night. So
Oh, yeah.
So- you couldn't have been there when he went missing because you were
That was what she
seen
knew.
by the guardhouse. You appear to have had an alibi.
I did have that.
What about the rest of them?
I have 8 owls that will swear blind I was at the Blue Water Inn.
So the 8 owls.
He doesn't say that.
So, I know that...
We went to Baron's house.
I know that. Lydia's
Yeah.
told me that.
I'm pretty sure they all know we killed the Baron. I don't
Lydia's
think
told
it's
me
too much of a-
that you all came for
Oh,
dinner,
really?
and Lydia also told me that her son was last seen with you in the church before he was incinerated and died. Yeah. So, just wondering,
I tried to see them.
just wondering what you did to the Baron. And he's not making any attempts to get out of his bonds at this stage.
Well, what did happen to the Baron? Are you guys going to tell him? Or...
Me, I'm doing nappy.
You're pretty handy with those daggers. I assumed you used the pointy ends.
What's the even I spin them?
How do you get rid of the blood?
That was amazing.
Oh, that was really good. Was there inspiration in that?
There should be inspiration in that. I'm happy to award you inspiration, Quinny.
Yeah.
For that.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so, you know,
So,
so you've murdered the Baron, and you've murdered the Baron's son.
I called the second one justice.
I told
He was a
the
bit of a
second one-
dick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So,
What was he up to up there? Never went up.
Oh, like torturing that girl who was
Ah.
supposed to be married.
And all the servants that went missing as well, apparently.
Doing experiments on, servants and her.
Some form of
And cats.
To
necromancy.
try and teleport and learn magic.
Cleverer
Something
than I
that
thought
is
he was.
apparently,
no. Wasn't doing a very good job.
Okay.
Well, then,
Why you got
if,
caught.
if the Baron's dead and his son's dead,
Hmm.
his wife's hysterical, maybe the next in line is his adopted son.
I have no interest in running a city.
Come on.
I think
You would be better than the
if we let
Watchers.
him go,
We can make it happen.
Yeah, I think so too. I was going to.
Harley
I-
actually
I-
says that.
At a
I
price.
apologize.
Harleen does actually say, well, you would be better than the Watchers.
Why would the Watchers? So, she wants power. She could take it. She could take on Lydia, I guess. But Lydia's strong in her own way.
But Lydia
She's
might
got
be
the
dis-
church on her side.
But she will be distracted.
Father Lucian's very popular.
What?
Father Lucian's very popular. The church is a sanctuary in Vallaki.
But I'm sure everyone would be very distracted at tomorrow's festival.
Why would they be distracted? Father Lucian and Lydia are coming to do the festival of the blazing sun. All remains well. Even though the Baron has gone, maybe it would be better under Lydia's ongoing stewardship. Lydia and Father Lucian.
But the Watchers seem to think that they're going to strike.
We have learned from the Watchers that they plan how
Because they're not
tomorrow.
the watchers, because they're watching for Strahd.
You got any? It's like if you got so Fiona.
Do you have your notes?
I can't write.
God, now I'm really confused.
The notes that you got given.
Oh, those notes. I didn't get handed notes.
No,
I
those
got
were
weird messages.
things that he.
Quinny will turn
she
around
knew.
though and say, for some reason or another, I was compelled to assist Lady Watcher in a number of activities. Blah 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 blah. She told me this, that, and the other. It would seem they intend to take power tomorrow.
And at this point, I would be starting to untie his ropes as well. Because I'm starting to gain a bit more trust in him. I feel
I'm
like it's going
going
to be a bad
to
decision, but
step in front of the
doing
doorway
it.
and just like lean up against it.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm trying so hard to believe.
Five on inside. I just don't. Lady Watcher, the Watcher family have been.
Oh, did we take any of those pamphlets about straw or any of the straw coins?
Oh no.
We took all the Strahd coins.
We took the straw
Oh, I got
coins.
them.
Did
You've
we
got-
take any of the pamphlets or anything like that with them?
Those were like blood money type things, weren't they? They were.
They were.
genuinely not great.
You have seen one before,
Hmm.
because you had one before,
Mhm.
and somebody cast detect magic on the last one you came across,
Mm-hmm.
and it had divination magic trace on it, and you binned, and so the last one got chucked out of somewhere in a ditch. So, because you found one at some point.
Quinny says there was
So
something else.
you
the
may or
Watchers
may
had.
you certainly took all the other normal cash. I
Yeah.
thought you'd actually
I think with
opted
that
not
knowledge, probably
to take them.
Quinny would have
Because
opted
of-
not to, I don't know what I was
because you knew that from previously.
Yeah.
Because you'd already... And Vash had Eldritch Sight up, didn't he? So
Yes.
he knew that he would have known that they were...
Quinny will say, there was something else the Watcher family had. Show him the book. Where the hell is Vash? I assume Vash has the book and give it to us before he left.
Not necessarily. He wouldn't necessarily give it to us.
When you
but,
say- When you say show him the book,
Mm-hmm.
you feel this chill go down your spine and this sort of heavy sort of weight on your back.
and suddenly you have the book.
That's disconcerting. I'll check the pack.
There's a book in your pack.
I'll cut a bit of cloth and pull one out and see if he recognises what it is.
He appears to have no idea it's a book.
So in about it. Quinny with an intelligence of 11.
Just puts it back.
I'll put it away this and then it's not really carefully. It's a very bad, very cursed magical item.
Yeah, okay. There's a lot of that in Barovia. And you can see his arms starting to... it's starting to just... well, yeah. So it almost looks like...
It's emotionally.
No, it almost looks like sort of blood vessels. That his arm is... That this is just running down where all the sort of blood vessels would be in his arm.
This is happening tomorrow.
Whether you believe us or not.
And what, may I ask, are you planning to do about that? So you've already said that you are planning to help Lady Watcher seize power. Is that what you're?
No.
We were.
Okay,
And
you
as
were.
far as I
No.
understand,
Okay.
He was.
She. Yeah.
She was.
Yeah.
We all kind of got dragged into it.
You hang, sister, with a really cohesive bunch of people.
It's an interesting time, interesting life, that's for sure.
Dania, what has become of you? You ask what's become of me, and you're talking about Strahd cults and murdering children.
Not my everyday life, but do not wish to be here.
It's been like
In all
3-4
honesty.
weeks, hasn't it?
Pardon?
It's been like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very long time, Barovia. Yeah. Okay.
Believe us or not, this is happening. Would you rather not be? Would you rather be prepared and not need to be, or be unexpected?
I will be prepared to defend Lydia and Father Lucian. But the festival will go ahead, because the festival always goes ahead.
I'm not saying cancel the festival. I'm just saying be on guard after the festival.
Maybe we should be saying cancel the festival. That seems like a really sensible situation.
What's your... Wait, did we just find out what his primary festival was?
Nothing will change.
No, what's your plan, given that you are now beaten within inches of your lives? and
Darn.
you said something about skipping town.
What?
I don't think he
No, he didn't.
I think he did. I don't know if he did.
He just looks really confused and goes,
You said something about skipping down.
and he goes, old man, it is, old man, it is clearly past your bedtime.
I'm pretty sure you said something about skipping town tomorrow. For the day. Sleeping in. Like, not attending the festival. And then maybe a couple of days later you might come back to your post just to head of the guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm just saying that would be a really wise choice.
Why would that be a wise choice?
Because we'll be murdered by Strahd.
Because what? Okay, if we let you go right now,
He's doing the nice
what? What?
thing. In a really roundabout
This is not the festival you're looking for.
What's stopping you from going and getting the guards?
Fortunately, me and Izek Strazni have about the same intelligence at this point, which is what are you talking about?
Like,
You know, he has this very high strength. You know, strength not the dump stat. Pick another stat.
yeah, like, what are you gonna do? we're wanted criminals.
Are we?
I'm a juvenile.
Well, that's killed the Baron's son.
I have diplomatic immunity. I assume.
I was on church ground. I basically had diplomatic immunity.
The Baroness could have had us all arrested easily.
I'm just asking him, like, what
Yeah,
is he going to
if we were a wanted
killed
criminal.
her for her.
Yeah.
That's a-
You know, if we let him go, he's going to
That's
come back with friends, possibly.
Well,
This guy.
So I'm suggesting he leave town for a couple of days and then.
It's a shame we don't-
You want me to leave town? So you're telling me that the family that I protect, that I have protected for almost my entire life,
You didn't do a
Thor-
good job of it.
yeah, that that is also what Lydia said. So I cannot let what happened to the Baron, and he looks directly at you, and I
Okay.
suspect I know what happened to the Baron.
Okay.
I cannot let those fates befall Lydia, who, by all intents and purposes, is a good person, and I have known her almost as long as I have
yeah,
known.
probably.
She's like the sister that I never got to grow up.
I hate to spoil your impression, but
Yeah.
we didn't just off the Baron for no reason.
Okay.
That was Lydia's request of us.
Well, I mean, he did say that the Baron was quite brutal
Yeah.
towards her, so
Yeah.
he's probably going to take that as
Well, okay, it's definitely.
That doesn't
surprise.
surprise me.
Oh, okay.
And I will investigate the death of the Baron at Lydia's request, but equally,
She knows the truth.
that as much as anything is for the show and the people of Vallaki as it is for finding out who may or may not have been responsible. He was, as I said, a cruel man, but, you know, Lydia I have known again since she was 14, the whole time that she has been, you know, with the Baron. She has been like an older sister to me. If she is now in charge of
Well, this is
Vallaki,
not
I will
really
continue to protect her
Well,
and Father Lucian and the
how
remainder
about we
of that
protect her
family.
And Father Lucian in the church tomorrow.
Good idea.
That's a very good.
Father Lucian has.
You don't have to leave
been
town,
warned.
but it's you could just look after them in the church.
How could they
Get healed for the
show?
day.
How could they show strength and leadership to the people of Vallaki hiding in the church?
Why need to?
Why?
Because
fear
the
that
city
Daniel's-
is unsettled because the Baron is missing. There is never more important time for a show of solidarity and unity
All I'm
Sounds
saying is I
pretty
don't
quiet.
want Danya's brother to
because
die
everybody
tomorrow.
is in bed awaiting the festival, which is where you all should be if you weren't beating up the head of the guard.
We're gonna have to kill your brother.
Well,
I'm telling
we-
him dead on.
We
Like,
found out
I
the
am trying
information.
to stop you as her brother from dying tomorrow.
It's his duty. He wants to do it.
If
Let
you
him
want
do
to
it.
die tomorrow, die tomorrow.
We,
I'll even give him a bit of heal.
I will help. I will help them. Whatever way I can.
So,
Heal him. Oops, that was bad.
Like I'm genuinely
fighting
doing a
against the
nice
watch
thing.
against Strahd and dying tomorrow. That's the plan. I just want to know what spells I'm prepping today, alright?
Which world shapes are we using for taking on straps? Something,
I-
something covered in with salty
look,
water.
You will seem lovely, but I am going to run for my life if,
Totally.
death seems
Yeah.
imminent. We're all cool with that, yeah. We're
Yeah, just make
cool.
sure it's
I
big
met
enough
you
that
all
I can
like
jump
3
on
weeks
that.
ago.
Yeah.
That seems
doesn't
fair.
matter.
That seems like a good arrangement.
Let's be honest, it doesn't matter if we're cool with it. You can just fuck off.
We can discuss religious differences after we survive.
May I leave?
Before you go, I'd like to get some of the damage that you did.
Really?
Yes.
I'm just wondering whether I should do the life transfer.
So you go and do a routine quality inspection.
I don't know if we can actually get
How long rest on
Ah.
one
my
more
days?
protocol.
No, normal long rest rolls.
Okay,
I will.
yeah.
God, can you imagine having to spend a week long resting in Barovia? For fuck's sake. Gee
Instant
whiz,
damage.
you'd all be dead.
I'll do
I
a
will
third
hand
round
him
of cure
back his
wounds.
bad
God
ones
damn.
as well. Wait, from him.
I like your hammer system.
Why, thank you. It is my favorite. And we shall see you tomorrow.
And as he
She says, like, in this,
So I gave him
Weird.
19.
I don't know how I feel about
thank you. And he, as he says that, he sort of pulls his battle axe and sort of goes to swing at you.
Can I pull my hammer and try and defend myself?
Hang on, what's happening?
He's just swung at line. But I think that's more like a friendly brotherly sister. That's it.
We'll find out.
A friendly brotherly sister is
It's like 10th level SWAT.
Would it be like an attack or?
This is
Yep.
how we greet each other in our
Okay, so
family.
that's
Well, it's like, let's see
16
if you
plus
like-
6, so 23, 4.
Okay. You block his battle axe completely, and he just chuckles and goes, and puts his battle axe and goes, "You can defend yourself if you needed it."
Well, I mean, I've managed to survive this long without anyone.
An impressive feat. I'd love to know how you got out. It's more interesting than how you got back in.
I mean, I would also find that I would find everything that I've lost interesting. So there must be a way that I can recover those memories.
I think you were just very young. But you must have got out. The last I saw, you were being dragged off by werewolves into the mountains. As I passed out in the snow. And I'm assuming that you've been somewhere else for the last...
I have been somewhere else. This place is completely foreign to me now.
So you got out. There is no way out.
People
People are looking for one all the time.
We know someone else who's got out. So there's quite obviously only two people who got out and back in.
Interesting.
Yeah, most of the bits is
I reckon-
I
I reckon the
we've
free
come
one.
across this storyline. We
Plain
had
jump.
done the werewolf hunting one, that side quest that we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have quite happily murdered Izek and then found out about it, potentially. You may still find out about it, don't know. So yeah, and you would know that. So you know that there's some werewolf civil war thing going on somewhere in the mountains.
So now Harleen is like, okay, now we need to go figure out this werewolf.
Which is where Quinny wants to go anyway.
Yeah, so we will do the werewolf thing because now I'm invested in the werewolf.
And you know, and all of your books, like Twilight, the werewolves generally identity is bad.
Oh, right. I
Yeah,
was
so
wondering
like,
where you were going.
Am I a secret
so like,
werewolf?
if you can turn into a werewolf, then
Am I a
Strahd
I think
is
you're
a
a wolf.
vampire. You know,
Am I a secret? Am I a secret werewolf? I can be a secret werewolf.
Could
I
be a
can
werewolf.
cast Moonlight on you and see if it like doesn't burn you to death. I don't,
Let's see how that
I don't
flies.
like the chances, but
Okay, I reckon we let Izek go to prepare for the festival tomorrow.
Okay.
It will be a very large thing.
Izek says, "Thank you. I will go down." He stands up, and there's bits of blood dripping down his back. He goes, "Thank you for the healing. Appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow."
May the Morning Lord be with you.
Of course.
I'm sorry for this again, Mother. This was not the way I was expecting things to go.
Yeah,
Is there
having lots of dolls of you probably seems pretty creepy, doesn't it? Really?
Just a little.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
a fireplace in this house?
Oh yeah, it's all sort of. And the roof's falling in. You've been in here before.
We thought, we're going to make ourselves at home. Okay.
I was going
I think we were going to go back to the tavern.
Go back to the inn.
You're welcome to sleep on that house, but
We're both saying this is our base for where we meet and have our discussions away from others.
So this is like your secret ops room.
Yeah.
Okay.
one of the planks falls off the ceiling.
Back to the pot.
Back to the tavern.
Okay.
We shall see you
So-
tomorrow.
The place we're still getting free drinks at.
Okay.
Wait, we're still doing free drinks.
So you head back there. You head back there. Fasha's gone to bed. You can, Danica starts to prepare you some food and bring some wine, and you've still got some of Vasily von Holtz's nice brandy at the bottom of your pack if you want some of that instead.
I would like some of that brandy.
And then you've probably got like a couple of hours before you'd be headed to bed in terms of if there's anything you want to do before you take a long rest.
Quinny will excuse herself
Uh-huh.
and wants to go take a look at something.
Okay.
Taking a long rest.
Harley would just sit in a dark back corner of the tavern
Uh-huh.
or the inn and just drink and try really hard to remember things. I know that's not quite how
Memory works.
but
Yep.
just try and go over the story in
Uh-huh.
her head to
Okay.
try and piece things together.
Fine. Anybody else?
Yeah, let's have a few drinks together.
Fine. Quinny, what do you want to do?
Thinking about tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
Quinny is of the opinion Strahd is going to arrive.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to take a look at this book.
The
Okay.
not good one or the diary one?
I don't have the diary one, no. I have the evil. I have the book of
Vile Darkness.
Vile Darkness. Is that what it's
I
called?
think that's what it's
The
called.
book of not quite so pleasant things.
Yeah, sorry. No, you're fine. Go for it.
I can feel my joints.
Yeah,
It's not a nice feeling.
I know it's getting cold and I have to get the heaters out again.
Oh god, it got to like 1 degree at ours last night or something.
I like it, but
Well,
yeah.
I love it too. But
Right.
I would like to attune to the book.
doing the thing that you told Vash not to do. That seems so safe.
It's, you could say it's evil.
So we back in the pot now.
Love it.
The intention
Quinny
is
is
to,
off somewhere by
or rather,
herself, I
what
think.
Quinny is telling herself is that this is to help get through the Strahd fight and then can ditch it later.
Okay.
She can
Sure.
attempt to ditch it later. I don't know if that's how attuning to this thing works, but that's the plan.
What was
Okay.
the pipe that we got again?
It's just a pipe for smoking.
I mean,
Really?
that's
I
why
thought
I'm
it was
doing
like a
it when
special
no one
pipe.
can see.
It was bit, it's built like a dragon.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
There is
we
something
didn't
about it.
know what the
You
magic
haven't-
properties were.
You haven't used it, but yes, there is.
Harleen would probably use it at the back of the
Okay.
tavern, I'd say, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Harleen's going to try the pipe while drinking.
Okay.
Also, like, I'm a Fey worshipper. Like, I'm a heretic already, sure.
What?
I'm a worshipper in custom actions.
I think I just can't
Yeah,
see.
they're a bit janks, but yeah.
There is. So,
The big one that I'm looking at is the DC 17 charisma saving throw to not become it.
there we go. So, okay, so you're using the pipe.
Oh, I love my dad's dog.
Are you smoking the pipe?
I'm smoking the pipe, yes.
Okay.
I'm hoping it might help recover memories. Who knows?
So as you sit in a dark corner of the Blue Water Inn, smoking the pipe that's crafted beautifully like a dragon, like the claw of a dragon holding almost like an egg, you sort of feel yourself entering a sort of odd kind of fugue-like dream trance, and you see this huge sort of castle, and above the castle flies an enormous silver dragon, and there's storming of this castle. It's like it's a huge invasion, and the walls are falling, and you just have this. You walk through this castle, and the dragon is gone, and the castle is in ruins, and as the sort of smoke clears, you've just got this almost completely photographic floor plan of this castle that you can remember as clearly as the layout of the house you lived in and grew up in.
That's it.
But yeah, no other memories about werewolves or anything. But you now know the floor plan of some random castle.
Interesting.
And a silver dragon was once involved with it somehow.
Okay.
Yeah. You and your Vile Darkness. What are you doing to the Book of Vile Darkness?
I would like to attune to it.
Okay.
So, charisma saving throw to avoid becoming evil. As I understand, is that magic? And does my Fey resilience work there? So do I get advantage?
No.
No.
No. No.
I only get plus 2 to charisma saving throw, so I need a 15 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 14.
It's like if Frodo was a boy.
Drops down to Detroit. Does that have the major and minor random beneficial properties at all? Usually they don't do much mechanically.
Yeah, so it's got
Hang on, sorry, just let me... Who's to say? Might do. No, it's lovely. What are they?
it has got it's got dark speech, it's got command evil.
Dark speech.
She's
Is this for
not even. I think she's
Yep.
just very
I'm assuming command...
Command
oh, yeah.
evil.
Oh, yeah, I see them.
So you can use
Command
dominate
evil and
monster.
Dark speech. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So dominate monster and... oh, cool. I can take some psychic damage to deal some psychic damage. Nice.
Okay.
And... Oh, I see. So it's not all of those things listed below, it's just 2 of them, is it?
It's a random collection of those. I'm happy for you to have all of those things.
Yeah?
Oh, you
I'm
actually want
incredible.
all of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. They're all fantastic. Cool, so my wisdom's going to go up to 22.
Yep.
Quinny's always having fun and stuff, growing on her horns and hair. She's now going to get a hail of thorns.
Uh-huh. What's going down?
That is the other one. It decreases by 2. I'm going to drop my charisma, I think, because I don't use it. My charisma's a 15, so it's a plus 2. So dropping it down just takes it to a plus 1.
Yep.
So like,
My charisma's a 14.
I'm a druid, and I
I don't know. I think intimidation might go up, but yeah.
well, I get advantage on intimidation
yeah.
for evil things, I think it is. Or is it advantage for good things? What is it? Something bizarre.
It is something bizarre.
Blah, 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 blah. I have advantage on persuasion checks for evil creatures and intimidation against non-evil creatures. Awesome.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And you've gained a crown of thorns.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
the mark of darkness thing.
You have noticed that you have gained a crown of thorns.
That will probably be fairly obvious.
Does that do damage to you?
I hope not. Cool. And then up, wisdom, up, down, charisma. So that increases my spell saves and attacks and all that by 1 because my wisdom's now plus 6.
Yep.
Cool. That's all that.
That's what Quinny does in the bar.
That's what Quinny... no, Quinny does not do that in the bar. Locks the door, puts a chair in front of it, weaves some vines, like, all the privacy.
Okay. Fair enough. Shame. But yes, okay.
Rather than doing that in the middle of
In the bar, I'm just going to attune to this very evil artifact. Okay.
Just the whole, like, all the candles just go out.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything? So you've got weird visions.
Who's to say?
You don't.
No one was paying attention.
You don't know. You don't know anything about it. 'Cause Quinny's gone to bed fine and woken up moderately. Okay. Following morning, it's the day of the festival.
So we all got an uninterrupted long rest.
You all got an uninterrupted long rest.
That's the first improvement. We are in a
You come down. You coming down for breakfast?
I have to leave at some point, yeah.
As Quinny comes down for breakfast, you notice that Quinny has got this sort of crown of thorns around her head, and from where these thorns are pricking into her skin, it's just trickles of some odd sort of black fluid just dripping down the sides of her face.
Is that like your battle mode?
Try a new spell that's not exactly working as a
Okay.
Battle mode activated.
Do you want to go?
Add a spell.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's a little.
So Danika's like, bustling around like she normally is in the morning, but also she's like, come on, brum, bray, everybody up, and everybody's down. So everybody's there. So Rick Tavio's, down. The boys are down. Unwin Martikov's there. Muriel Vinshaw is there. Everybody's down, and it's like, come on, we've got to go. And you guys had actually agreed the last time you were there that you would be meeting Lady Watcher in the square as her guests. Okay, so you're heading to the festival?
Sure.
Before we leave, I'm going to quickly say, so what are we doing?
I don't know.
Trying not to die.
Alright.
Trying to save as many people
Observing.
if things go shit.
As I
But
always
like,
do,
if things go shit, which side do we go
not
Not the
strong.
watchers.
with? Yeah, not
But
straight.
also I don't want to fight it, so yeah, I think observing that.
I'm sure fighting with the church and with the army of the town behind us would be worse.
So you head down to the town square.
Let's
No.
just see what happens.
It could be a worse thing.
You head down to the town square, and you've been to the square before. This is where the stocks are. Yes, Noggins, bless him, still in the stocks. He looks more sober. He actually looks quite merry. Somebody's put like a little sun hat, like a hat with rays
In the stocks
too. He's got little rays coming from a hat that somebody's put on his head, like a festival hat. So for this, so that it makes it marginally more easy to see. Anybody who's green, that's a guard. So just so that you can see where they are. So those are all those green dudes. It's town guard. Okay, and you are sort of over here with Fiona Watcher and her two sons, Nikolai and his brother are over here. So that's where you guys are. Some of these people are still in their shops, trying very hard to not actually have to go out and go to the festival, but clearly sort of watching through the window, making an effort. In terms of other people you noticed, you've got Rick Tavio. He's knocking around there. Vasily von Holtz is there. You've got Myrtle. She's come down with some of the kids from the orphanage. There's the little old lady that, there's Blinsky, but the little old lady who gained all the hit points when you gave an excellent sermon. She's down there. Whole load of sort of random villagers, some of whom you've met, shop owners that you've met. The whole Martikov clan is over here. So the kids, Muriel Vinshaw, Danica, the two 10-year-olds, they're over there. And then sort of it's coming up at the bottom of the stocks. You've got Lydia and Izek flanked there. Immediately sort of in front of so you've got Father Lucian, sort of keeping an eye on his sister, and you've got what's his face, Reek, the crossbow wielding 5-year-old. He's knocking around, and Irina is also she's up here at the moment. Okay, so there's everybody you've met plus lots of random villagers, some nobles, some other bits and pieces. You recognise Lady Watcher's household servants that you saw knocking around. You recognise Udo, the shoemaker that you rescued from the burgomaster's house. He's sort of milling around in the crowd, but it's pretty busy and pretty full, and heavily guard presenced. Okay. So you sort of join Lady Watcher in the square, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so pleased you could all make it. It's going to be a fabulous day for Valaki, isn't it, boys?" And the boys are like, "Yeah, whatever." They kind of look like they'd rather be hunting or fishing or anything other. They don't look the political types. It's going to be an absolute fantastic day. I'm so pleased you could all make it. Hopefully by the end of today, Valaki will be in better hands, and we can all get on with living a slightly less festival-heavy lifestyle. It'll be wonderful. And then you hear sort of you see Izek Strazni hold up his hand, like he's calling for silence, and this huge sort of fireball erupt out of his hand and shoot into the sky. Less hostile and more like almost like a sort of starting pistol or a firework. Pyrotechnics. And there's a hush over the crowd, and Lydia begins to speak. And she's like, "Welcome to the Festival of the Blazing Sun. In a minute, we will bring the ceremony to start. The ladies of Barovia have made this year's ceremonial sun, which we will lift up and light in celebration of the daily dawn in Barovia." And there's sort of ripples of applause around the crowd, and you see a sort of group of sort of older women that you vaguely sort of recognise from being in the parlour weaving sticks when you went to the Baron's house, sort of wheeling this enormous sort of, looks like almost cartwheel, like horse and cartwheel sized wicker sun, where the centre is all woven like the bottom of a basket, and then all these sort of spikes out of it. It looks like a giant sun, and they wheel it forward and they mount it onto a sort of upright that's on the front of the stocks that appears to be there for that purpose, although sometimes you see people chained to it. Nobody chained to it today. And they hold the sun over the top, and they go, "And now the ceremonial lighting of the blazing sun brings our starts our festival and the celebration." And she turns to face the sun, and she, with a proper match with a tinder and a flint, she goes out to light the sun, and there's a spark. You can see the spark, and nothing happens. A spark, and nothing happens. And this sort of, you can hear this murmur and this sort of disquiet sort of, and you get a little bit of laughter, and then voices from the back of the crowd start shouting, this is all hogwash. And you look round and it's some random mercantile in the back. It's all hogwash. And then you see Udo, the shoemaker, going, it's ridiculous. This is all nonsense, this festival. And you can hear this sort of scattered throughout. And you see this smile broaden across Lady Fiona's face as this sort of grumbling discontent starts to spread and build across town. And she says, I think my time has come. And she starts to walk forward towards the stage. And she walks up and she goes, Lydia dear, I think it's time to move aside. I think the crowd is turning and there is time for a new order in Vallaki now. And you see Izek step forward and stand in front of Lydia, between Lydia and Lady Fiona. And you see all the guards all the way around the square stand taller and draw their swords and draw their pikes and their assorted weapons, and the whole atmosphere in the square starts to become much more tense and hostile. And Izek goes, stand down, step back, or die. Your choice. Your order, whichever you prefer. And you can see Father Lucian starting to kind of look around and looking at you, sort of, what the is this the thing? Is this the thing you warned me about? There doesn't appear to be, the guards are closing in terms of the exits. All of the roads out of the town square are essentially blocked. You're not meant to be leaving this event.
How are people reacting to Fiona approaching the Baroness?
So you can hear very active, new order. Lots of sort of cheers scattered amongst the crowd. Roll perception check with your ridiculously high wisdom.
I was going to say insight.
Or insight. Either.
No opposition.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a 2 on the dice, but it becomes a 15.
Oh, one way.
With insight.
I got 2
With
on the
insight
dice.
and guidance.
So 27 perception.
Okay, 27 perception. You can see that the loud, we need something new voices are relatively few, but well positioned. So they're positioned within groups of nobles and groups of villagers, and there's some active agitation going on in terms of, we all say this. We don't want to have to come out here every other weekend and stand in the bloody square at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is ridiculous. It means nothing. There's lots of very sort of specific group agitation and gaining sway.
Is
Gaining.
Is anyone sort of starting to scuttle off to go back home?
The people are sort of moving away from the centre. Guards are closing in. There's nobody leaving the square.
Are we in the centre? Are we where these guards are all closing in on?
So you're over here, which is where Fiona Watcher is. She's now sort of moved over here.
A little back from the stage. Or, sorry, the stage is there, yeah. Actually, no, stay away.
So this is clearly, these guards are all sort of moving in and forming up. And currently cutting off very deliberately all the exits, and they're all moving into that sort of, our job is to maintain order at the festival, and they're moving into that sort of formation.
Do the guards appear to be picking sides, or are they staying neutral?
At the moment, they appear to be. This festival does not look like everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and our job is to make sure the festivals run. So normally if there was dissent at a festival, you end up in the stocks with a donkey head on and that sort of thing. That's what happens if you badmouth the festival. So it looks like they're getting ready to enforce usual justice that happens if things start to get a bit, grumbling. But it doesn't look like they're. It doesn't look like they're marching into attack. It also doesn't look like they have any intention right now of letting anybody out. So they're sort of forming a tighter perimeter around the square in terms of blocking off exits. They move down to either side of. So these guards that are up on the stocks move down. So they're now sort of flanking. Izek's moved forward over there. There you go. So you've got Fiona Watcher trying to move her way up. The guards have moved down and in around Lydia, and Izek's facing off. And you can just feel this sort of tension. You look over at the Martikovs, and you can see concern on the Martikovs' faces, and Danika's sort of crouched down and whispering to Bray and Brom, and Reek's looking super excited and running around the square like a 5-year-old, basically trying to figure out what's fun, where's the place to go. Etherdwy notices that he looks like he's trying to pick some pockets, and he's secretly quite proud of him because that 1 week of teaching him stuff appears to have been really useful. Everybody's very distracted.
Can I hypothetically talk to my thoughts, just like before that, and say, well, this is going to be new hopes.
Who are you speaking
That's
to?
so vague.
Who are you speaking to?
The Markovs. I say, whose side would you be on if this situation?
To the guards?
No, to the Markovs.
Oh, to the Martikovs. Any particular Martikov? All the Martikovs. Sorry.
Yeah. What's the main one called?
Unwin, the dad. And
Yeah.
the bar owner. And it's like, if there was going to be bloodshed, it would have been useful to let us know that. You let us bring our children here. I don't want any side. Everybody's as bad as everybody else. I want to be able to sell wine, make a living, and look after my children.
Our goal would be to avoid bloodshed.
Absolutely, that should be everybody's goal. What the fuck's going on? Anyway, back to you later. We'll check in. So as you stand there, this sort of Fiona Watcher started to turn to address the crowd. She's not progressing further towards the stage. She just turns where she is and starts to address the crowd and goes, "This woman has been nothing to this town. The Baron and his father before him and his father before that have run this town with a rod of steel. You have been subjugated, and anyone who speaks against him beaten and put in the stocks. All of you at one point have been up there where Jesper lies now, wearing a donkey head, and you can hear increasing, particularly among the sort of commoners, this sort of, yeah, you're right. And then you can hear these very specific voices going, she's right. You were up there the other week, weren't you, with a donkey head on at the Wolf's Head Jamboree. And nobody came and got you out when you said anything that you didn't want to come down here. She's like, yeah, I am happy to step in to the void left by the Baron and take charge of this city and usher in a new era of freedoms for Vallaki. And the crowd generally, overall, appears to be swinging in her direction.
Can I tell what the guards look like they're going to do?
The guards, yeah, go on, you can roll inside with perception.
Can I roll inside and just
That's another 3 on the dice.
Yep.
Only 13.
On insight, you feel the crowd's pretty split. The guards, you feel that they are looking at Izek.
Is Izek within
They are
60
waiting
feet of me?
for. They are waiting for orders.
Is Izek within 60 feet of me?
Just yeah.
I cast Hold Person
On Izek.
on Izek.
Okay.
I'm hoping the guards, if they're not told to do anything, will just not kill a bunch of people.
Is there a save on whole person?
Wisdom save. Now a DC 17. Unless anyone, that's what I was saying before, you can do anything. But I feel like it's about to be up the line.
And can I insight the sleep on hold?
I kind of
To see
agree with
what-
what the lady's saying.
Yeah, that's so. What I'm hoping is that the guards without a leader will let this happen. I'm worried Izek will say no. Kill her and there'll be a
What
blood.
loyalty do we have to the family that was ruling?
No.
No,
We
not loyalty,
killed
do
one.
you?
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
Does that work?
Izek saves.
Izek
I don't
says.
think it's our place to decide.
So you see it sort of freeze and then sort of twitch in place and just look around the crowd and look over at where you're all standing.
I will
But-
look at him and try to communicate that. Just hoping he doesn't do anything stupid that will end up with a bunch of people.
So you've got this crown of thorns with like black liquid running down your throat. You're looking peaky this morning. But yes, he's looking at you like, okay, new look. Okay. What was that? What would you like to do?
For a 25 on insight,
Yep.
Fair.
I'm looking at the sleep on hold to see what his reaction is and whether he's shocked or happy or.
So we're so 25 minutes out.
Yeah.
He looks amused. He just looks. He's just watching with this sort of,
He's got something.
with this just sort of,
The Sullivan Hots.
you know, like this is more entertaining than the usual festival. He doesn't look worried. He doesn't even look particularly interested in the outcome. He looks amused. Like this is, you know, valid entertainment.
Okay, I assume I'm gonna speak into his mind and say I assume you're impartial to the events that are going on.
It's more fun than the last festival, that's for sure. We shall see what happens.
Yes. We will soon watch.
Whatever happens, you must all come for dinner again soon.
Of course.
And he carries on.
Circle thorns. What's going to happen if it sees you? Do I know?
As
We didn't get the book from him. We got the book from.
as Fiona carries on her.
Oh, so what was the one?
His
who's
book
on
was
that?
Stride's Diary.
Oh, that's
He had
right.
a copy of Stride's Diary. This book we stole from the attic of the Watcher family. I don't even know if they knew they had it. It seems like a weird thing to just have, like that you don't know you have. But,
And Fiona carries on, and as the crowd's building, Izek Strazni raises his arm and draws his battle axe, and you hear all the weapons all the way around the square drawn, and you hear what sounds like everybody in armour all the way around the square pull to attention. And he goes, I suggest you stand down, or we will regain order in the square.
Something's about to happen.
what do we do?
And the flame appears in his hand,
I'm
and
like
his what is a heavy double-handed battle axe in one hand on the
I'm
other
going to hold
side.
an action
Yep,
that if Strahd appears,
yep.
I'm hunting.
Specific.
I'm hunted sensing it.
Okay.
Can I cast,
Just so we're clear.
can I
Yes.
cast another spell yet? Mechanically, is it another round since
Yep.
I cast Thingo?
Yes.
It's not going to do anything if I dispel his hand. It just stops the fire. Should we do something?
No.
Alright.
Zephyr is very
I
much
thought you
a
came
weak
into this
thing.
saying we're not going to do much.
With the
and-
neck-
I
What's
thought the plan was
survive.
stop the bloodbath.
We'll stop the bloodbath.
Strahd shows up, the goal is survive.
If the fighting starts,
This is the
we'll stop
last
the
second.
bloodbath.
This is the last
But
second
this
to
is
stop the
all-
fight. It's about to become a blood.
I mean, let's look mechanically.
How would you
Getting
stop
called
the fight?
Curse of Strahd, we're going to counter him.
I was going to cast heat metal on a bunch of people.
That's not going to stop the fighting. It's going to make it worse.
As Izek raises his weapons and sort of facing down.
How is Fiona looking at the fact that we're not helping her?
Fiona looks. Roll insight on Fiona, who's currently standing toe to toe with Izek.
That's a nat 1 on insight. I've rolled a 1, 2, and a 3 since I got my
Well,
boost
you
on
know,
this
we'll be all right if you have to fight
21.
something, won't you? 21 on insight. You think
The dice hit me.
she looks unfazed and more confident than currently she has a right to look.
She looks unfazed.
Unfazed.
Oh,
And she
we're
goes,
Something's going to happen.
I don't want to get in the middle of it.
this town is...
We are literally. We are geographically.
No, but I don't want to put us
In
as
this-
the centre of attention
in this circular kill box. The Watcher boys, the twins, her sons, draw their weapons. One's got a bow and the other one's got a pretty hefty looking sword, and draws it and looks and goes, remember where you said your loyalties lay?
I don't remember.
I'm not
telling
dying.
you my loyalties were.
My mother has a long memory. And they start to move away. They start to move away to sort of to flank, just as
Can
a
we try and stop them from moving away? How do I like grab them? Like,
I can try
grapple them?
nursing both, but that'll take a
I don't exactly want to attack them. I just I wanted
so as
to try and
as
stop
as
them from attacking
as
us.
Nikolai starts to move away, are you grabbing him?
Yeah. Ooh.
Just-
What? I thought you wanted to stop bloodshed.
I thought
This
we
is
just
how we
decided we weren't going to do that.
No, I'm going to stop bloodshed.
So confused.
Bloodshed.
Maybe not this
Do
way.
it, do it, do it.
Right, we all have our own ways.
Am I just rolling a strength?
Athletics would be good for
Pardon?
Athletics for grapple, isn't it?
That's good 14.
I would have thought probably.
What could be better?
You've got him. And he looks at you and goes, what the fuck are you doing? Let go of me.
I remember not showing where my allegiance lies. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I didn't say I would help.
He snorts and tries to sort of pull his shoulder away.
Can I
And
try
go
to
on.
tell what they're doing?
The brothers?
Well, they
Yeah,
grabbed
they've kind of their
weapons.
weapons and are walking away. But
They're
like, are
just
they
walking
towards
up
guards? Are they
towards.
walking
No,
towards
they're
the
walking
stage?
up towards where the mother is.
No, I think that's fine.
They're walking up towards where the mother is. So in terms of other people who are there, there's a couple of commoners, and there's Reek is hanging around up there by the look of it. So Milovich is there. You know, Milovich, Bone Digger dude. He's there. Father Lucian's there. Reek's here. You know, all the, nice and close in the action there. Lady Fiona watches. She's like, do your worst, Strazni. Do your worst. And she puts her hands out to the sky, and her group that are scattered throughout the crowd start to cheer, and she's like, now would be a good time to help. And you hear all the way around the square, sort of further out than the guards, this awful sort of cackling and screaming and and the guards spin. So the guards are no longer looking into the square, they're looking out from the square. And you can see coming into the square a collection of what appear to be vampire spawn and the gravedigger, and what look like either ghosts or wraiths sort of moving through the buildings. and some coming in from the sides. These sort of zombies with flesh falling off them, and she goes, anything you can do. I also have been biding my time and raising some forces.
Right now, which side are you
Okay, even vampires, I'm definitely.
As soon as I do this, I'll say,
I'm siding with the church.
I'll say, if you're doing,
holding? Killing the vampires.
please do my voice.
Yep.
And I am going to jump on top of the middle of the fountain.
Okay.
As a Lydia jump up with it.
No,
Or
you
just
can
looks
say
like
down
a
the bottom.
crazy
You just
old
have to
man.
shout what I say.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Choose everybody.
Middle of the lucky. I shoot.
Overlapping.
And I'm just like doing this.
Where is the bark of the leader?
We can settle this without violence.
We can settle this without violence.
Unless you want your town to be destroyed.
You want your town to be destroyed.
So like a threat.
You will destroy each other
You want to destroy each other.
for no reason.
For no reason.
What if
What is?
we have a democratic vote?
We have a conversation.
So while you're doing that, on the edges of this, you can hear the sounds of battle starting. So these vampire appear to have no interest in negotiation, chit chat. They have come in to do damage, and they are
We're fighting the vampire.
Alright.
running in, trying to bite, claw, attack the guards, and get into the center.
Okay.
So now between everybody in the center and the stuff coming in from the outside, a lot of vampires.
Okay, so
So the guards are between you and them.
if nothing happens when I say that,
There's
I'll
starting
asking
to be.
everybody one more thing. It's clear that bloodshed is unavoidable, and I'm going to speak directly into the head bitch's mind.
Which are we narrowing down which head
The
bitch we're on?
watches- the watches-
Watch a bitch. Watch a
So is
bitch.
it
And
the
say-
watches that summon the vampires?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's not Lydia.
No, Lydia is
It's the Baron.
the Baron's widow.
Baron's widow. Who
So-
has
so
the town?
what-
Who has the
So
authoritarian town?
So the Watcher is what's her name?
So you go Fiona. Fiona's here.
So
Fiona with the
summoned-
posh hairdo.
So she summoned-
Lydia with the long hairdo is up there. Izek suddenly sitting between them. Reek's down here going very close to the action because he's like in it because he's 5. Father Lucian's here. Irina's over there. Martikov's.
So Fiona summoned the vampires.
That's certainly what it looks like, yes.
All right.
And
What's
I
Fiona wearing?
Just robes,
No, that's
posh.
Metal necklace at all?
It doesn't look like it.
Oh.
Just posh posh
Please.
clothes. Come
I'm
if you want to.
going
I don't mind if
to-
you want to heat up a necklace.
I'm going to use Hunter Sense on Fiona,
Okay.
and I'm going to say that if get the children inside.
Inside where?
Well, this place is
Anywhere.
anywhere.
The church. No, get them to the church.
So the church would be from here. The
Yeah,
church.
whatever the nearest
So
entrance to a
so
building
from the
is.
church would be either this way or that
No,
way.
No, just in a building.
Okay,
Alright,
skip
Is there a building?
I would like to.
There's lots of buildings. Yeah, these
Yeah,
are all the
Hunter Sense
shops.
first. Hang on. What's...
I want to do my new trick.
Alright, I'm gonna.
Quinny would like to conjure animals.
Okay.
I'd like to summon 8 swarms of ravens
Oh.
Okay.
and call out protect the townsfolk, and I'll have them go
8
If you can
swarms of
zoom out for me.
ravens.
8
Yeah.
swarms of ravens.
Okay, of course.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
I want 3 of them near
Of-
her.
Okay.
Um,
Ravens.
Mm.
Okay.
I'm sure we're
I'm going to
restricted
see
to
what's
children or just-
And does she have any damage immunities or resistances?
Does she?
That's-
No.
They actually occupy other people's spaces because they're a swarm, so I
Yep.
actually get them on the vampires and on her. Actually, I need to summon them near me, sorry.
Okay.
So, are we going to kick off this battle because it's 10 to 10?
So you can hold it over and wait until Ryan's back if you want to.
That would be
Um,
nice.
It's
and-
gonna be an extensive battle.
I'll put. Okay, let me put your ravens in, and then we will.
there
So you can all take your last free prep action, and we'll roll for initiative at the beginning of next time. Okay, where would you like your ravens?
They need to be within 60 feet of me. Can I see what that looks like?
60 feet of you. Yes, you can. So let's do. It is. There you go. That's 60 feet of you.
Oh, beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are there vampires down that way? Looks like they are.
There probably will be.
Let's go 7 and 8.
Okay,
So
hold
2,
on one
4,
sec. Hold on
6.
one sec. Let me find the bloody. There we go. So go on then. Point them out, and I'll put them in.
1, 2, 1 on top of her.
On top of Lydia. Yeah. 2. Yeah.
1, 2, third up there.
Yeah. 3.
Fourth over here.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
And then we'll go 6, another one next to her.
Yeah.
And 7, another one over
Over there somewhere. Okay. That was over there. Okay. That's 8. Yep. So I'll add those. That's shits and giggles. Add that into combat later. 8 swarms of ravens. No worries. Okay. Anybody got anywhere they would like to move or anything? So that purple thing's just. I'll get rid of it in a minute. That's Quinny's raven range.
Also, sorry, bonus action.
Yes.
If I get a whole turn.
Yes.
What's the roof of this building look like?
The
Can I get cover from being on it if I miss you step up to it?
You'd certainly get sort of ranged advantage. It's pretty flat. I'm not sure you would get cover. You'd certainly be out of melee. That's the stocks. So yeah.
That's the shots. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get up there and get out of melee, I think.
Okay, on the top of that building.
Step as a bonus action.
Okay, so you can go up there.
Thief, actually. I get that and Hunter's Mark. It's a great one.
Was this as a bonus action?
Hunter's Step's always a bonus action, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
I'll
right.
put you up
That's
there.
helpful.
Otherwise, such more-
Does anybody else want to move or do anything or prepare anything before we go? Yeah, Malachi.
Zipper strike.
Oh, sorry, you're.
Just zipper striking. So it's just for the next minute. I don't provoke opportunity attacks.
Yep. And you've put. What have you put on Fiona? You marked it.
Oh yeah, that was just to find out if she had any resistance.
Yeah, you just checked it. And no. Let me just check. I don't think so. No, she doesn't.
And the last thing I'll do.
Oh no, that's not true. She's resistant to fire. I forgot that.
Resistant to fire?
Sorry, my bad.
And I will. What's it called? I don't know how you can as your action. Can you dodge as your action?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll just dodge.
Okay. So no opportunity attacks and a dodge, and she's resistant to fire,
Yes,
which you can share. Are you staying on top of the fountain?
Yeah, I'm staying on top of the
Of course. Okay.
Yeah.
On top of the fountain. All right, Harleen. Anything you'd like to do? Anywhere you'd like to go?
Harley would probably just straight up attack the guy that she kind of grabbed.
Okay, so you're going to whack her son as your first attack. Nice. Okay.
And is,
Etherdway.
Vampires.
this is her.
So-
This is her here, isn't it?
So this one's Fiona.
That's that.
Yeah. So there's Fiona. That's Lydia. So vampire summoning woman.
Yeah.
Currently in charge woman. Izek Strazni.
Okay. And who? Well,
These are her. These are Fiona's twin boys. There's lots of
I'll
twins
go
in
for the
Brevy.
other watcher.
You're going after the other watcher. This one?
Yep.
Okay. So
Not
he's
the- not the
currently
one that looks suspiciously like me.
he's currently running away. This is Reek. Yeah, he's the little lad. He's good with the crossbow. He shot Zephyr.
Is he a watcher?
No,
he's the orphan who travelled
he's
with
the
us.
orphan that you rescued from the windmill.
We like him.
Yeah, the one who Quinny gave a shot, a crossbow to, and he shot Zephyr.
Here, look,
Malachi, anything you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'm going to cast Spirit Guardians. And,
Okay.
Can I retcon something before we came to this? If it's too much of shenanigans, I've got good berry prepped. Can I give everyone a good berry?
Yes.
Awesome. Everyone's got a good berry that heals 1 health. Just so if someone drops down and you're not a healer and you need them, you can figure to get them back.
Remind us.
Okay.
of
You want Spirit Guardians up.
Yeah, Spirit Guardians and Spiritual Weapons.
Okay. Spirit Guardians.
Dash. What
Is it 15 or 20 feet?
15.
15. So I'll put that. Okay. So that's your Spirit Guardians.
Oh,
Okay. And you want your spiritual weapon as well.
Yeah.
You can.
you get both of them. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
It
'cause
is the best
spiritual
combination.
weapon is-
Where would
Oh,
you?
no, I meant you get both of them in your spirit guardians.
Where would you like to summon your weapon? Because you can only move it 20 feet on a turn, but you can summon it whatever.
I'll summon it next to
Sorry, can I just go?
Yep.
Rather
Okay.
than go this side, can I go in here?
Where would you like to be?
Just-
In between.
Yep. In between him and Reek. Yep. And
I'll
spiritual
choose
weapons next to Fiona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Are you good?
Yeah.
Good. Are we good?
I'm
And
so sorry.
where should I put that? I don't know.
Can I move one of my Swarms of Ravens onto the one Ethidre's fighting?
One of the two.
One of the couple that are up here, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
There are swarms that are actually on the same space.
I know, but I'm not sure you can actually.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, you
sorry,
can.
Foundry gets a bit
There you
funny.
go. There you go.
Is this the most significant battle that you've done with this campaign?
I think so.
It'll be a fun to fight.
Honestly,
There's lots of mass action in terms
you have to
of.
keep track of a lot of initiatives now.
Yeah, there's a lot of them on acting on what, like all commoners go "Ah!" and run around,
Well,
basically just fucking getting in the way on their turn. That's an action. Screaming and getting in the way of shit is an action.
I'm so annoyed. I nearly prepped Guardian of Nature, and it's cool. You just get a big area that gives you 10 HP. That would have got most of this whole center, but I didn't take the spell.
So if you give them all 10 HP, that gives them like treble their HP.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing to just remember. I mean, these are commoners.
They have a-
Yeah.
So the average HP in this is Myrtle, bless her. Remember Myrtle? She had a really bad time being hoiked out in her cage and levitated out through the windmill and didn't speak for ages until and cried a lot until you got her drunk and rescued her. And she's gone up to 3. You know, she's got strong. She's been fed since you last saw her. So yeah, she's sitting on 3 hit points. Reek's got 4.
How many's the old lady got now?
She's got her inspiring leader thing has worn off, so she's back to 4. So there's there's potential for complete carnage.
Is there anyone missing?
What do you mean? Is there anyone missing? Are you?
Like, at a look, is there anyone missing that we've ran into in the town that is deliberately not?
What now? Right now?
Yeah.
Are you looking now from the top of the?
I mean, you'd be a good vantage point, that's for sure.
While you're giving your speech, is that you can roll perception check to survey the crowd while you're on top of the fountain if you want to? Is your last thing?
Just to see if there's anyone like obviously missing.
Yep.
If you haven't got your votes in for campaign 2, send them to me when you get them there. We can work out what to do.
Perception that is 26.